You're listening to Addressing Gettysburg.
Hello, folks. It's Patrick Gorman.
Hi, this is Jake Busey.
Hi, this is Bruce Boxleitner.
This is Tom Vera from A Gettysburg Christmas.
Hi, this is Bo Brinkman.
And you're listening to
Addressing Gettysburg.
I'm glad you're listening. Thank you.
I expected you to say something like that.
Did you say Ed Lincoln?
Good night, everybody.
Bonfire.
You're listening to Addressing Gettysburg today.
I love this podcast.
Hello, exactly.
I thought I'd use Shaper's I'm talking about the annual volunteer work event, you know, which we're having. So I'd like to bring a couple of I'm wearing here.
Hello, everybody. Oh, you want it lower? All right, hold on. Which one are you there? Are you 3? Is that going down there? Is that good?
Keep going.
Keep going? Is that all the way off now? Okay, so I'm just trying to find which one you're on. Is that it? Is that the one?
That's it.
That's good? Okay. All right. Hi, everybody. Welcome to this episode of Addressing Gettysburg today. This is truly the final one from the studio.
Thank you for waiting for me.
Yes. You're welcome.
I'll use that as an excuse. I know it wasn't me.
It wasn't you. But, you know, but it was
Damn
not
it.
the...
One of these things has to be about me at some point. I mean, just one of them.
I don't know. If you can do like a full month without missing a show, maybe then we can start catering to you.
Tough crowd. Hi, everybody.
But no, it didn't feel right last week to do. Oops, sorry. Well, we lost our music. It didn't feel right last week to do a last time in the studio show without you.
Well, thank you.
And Colby, frankly, because of all who was on last week? It was Debbie, right? And
Bethany. Bethany filled in for me. 'Cause we
Bethany,
yeah.
right. And Debbie was here too, I think.
I think so, yeah.
I'm sorry, Colby, hold on. Oh, God, I am discombobulated today. Which mic are you now?
You weren't here because you weren't feeling well.
There, wait. Are you talking to the mic?
Hello.
All right, all the mics.
Do this. I got faith in you, buddy.
No, your faith is unfounded because for some reason it's not. It was working before.
Check.
So full disclosure, Matt has already started
Grab that
kind
headphones.
of dismantling the
Grab those headphones
studio
there.
here. So
that headset. Yeah, I've been. So there's. You'll notice it more in Veronica's background. You can see the Wall of Fame. There are no books there. How about now, Cole? Turn that up. All right. How about that? No. Why can't I hear anything?
Oh goodness. Check. All right,
Oh,
there we
you
are.
There
we
you
are.
Okay. All right. I had the wrong one.
Who'd you have engineering the show?
Me.
Oh, multitasking.
But the whole thing was that, the only person who has been here for years, or it was me.
True.
So it was like there was no sorrow because, it was just me.
Yeah.
So I figured, But the reason why we're doing this show is because of our guest, Wayne Motts.
That's actually the truth.
Yeah.
I know it wasn't about me.
No, it wasn't.
Nor me.
I've been trying to get Wayne on this show. Well, I say trying. It's not like it's been this constant battle. We've talked about it, Wayne and I, whenever we bumped into each other for maybe 2 years. And so I was like, all right. Last week I decided this is the last show from here and everything. And then the next day, Dave texted me after he listened to it. And he's like, do you know you have Wayne next week and Gary the week after? And I said, okay, well, I got to get out of here. So we'll do Wayne, but tell Gary we have to reschedule Gary. Because even if, I know.
Gary Edelman?
Gary Edelman, yeah.
Oh.
But the reason why...
Look at you, big roller.
Well, look.
He's famous, everybody.
No, the reason is because we're doing a photography show with him. Yeah. So we need visuals. Yeah. I'm going to move everything out starting tomorrow. I'm not going to be set up and ready to go by next Tuesday. Right. So I said to Dave, I was like, there's no way in hell we're going to be ready to do a show by then. So we got to reschedule Gary. So I think Gary's going to come on now in the fall.
Oh, neat.
I think. But yeah, so we're doing this show because Wayne was booked. And I was like, all right, now I don't want to reschedule him because it'll be another 2 years. So we're going to do it now. and we'll have... a good time. And then, you'd be here and Colby would be here and everything like that. So it's a little...
As afterthoughts, Colby.
Yeah, it happens.
That's all right.
Well,
That's all right. Even if I can have a third or fourth row seat to Wayne Motts, that'll be an accomplishment in my career here.
Yeah, I know. So how have you been? We
Good. We've been busy.
Yes, we've all been busy. You, by the way, were a big star, prominently featured in the Memorial Day parade last
I'm
week.
sweating my rear end off, man. I am so out of shape.
You were walking in the parade? I didn't see you.
my
You didn't
God.
see her?
No.
Remember when I got the tomatoes and I started throwing them?
Oh,
That
part.
was Veronica.
That part. Were you behind the Shriners or in front of them?
They were in
In
front.
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah, they were like, Veronica was like, you were.
next to the middle
way
school
they
band?
we were right in front of the middle school band, man.
Okay,
Jeez,
you
oh,
want
man.
that's why I missed you, because Tommy's son was in the middle school band.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. They were kind of leading the way. And it was kind of confusing because it looked like the middle school band was the Thaddeus Stevens Society band because there was I didn't see
There
a
was always
sign
the gap for the school.
for the school.
I don't know.
You know what else? This will help us talk about Memorial Day a little bit. Another reason why I'm going to miss you, Veronica, is just because that was right at the beginning of the parade was like the middle school band. There's a few things in front of them, but not much. Like they were towards.
It was
the
more of the
beginning.
civilian stuff. So they had the daughters of the Revolution,
Right,
and they
right.
the Union daughters from the Civil War, and I think we were right after them, which they kind of did it like chronologically after the big
Yeah.
shots in their cars, right?
Yeah.
Us low lifes on foot. They kind of started to do like chronological Revolution, Civil War stuff. So yeah.
During that part, a Vietnam veteran, a gentleman, came up and started talking to me and Tommy, and
cool.
It's kind of cool, man. Being a combat veteran now, it is funny. I can have full-on, very in-depth conversations with guys from very different generations than I fought in.
Yeah.
And but there's like a sense of understanding.
But a bullet whizzing past your head sounds the same no matter what war you're in.
Yeah, I
Or
mean,
feels the same.
Scary. There's that, but there's other things that translate too. It was very cool. Memorial Day is a cool holiday.
It is. And you know what I was surprised about though was the parade seemed very short this year.
It wasn't very big. So we got
right?
we got an email that the 4 participants from our organization that carried the banner. We got an email saying, "Hey, they're going to start closing down the roads at noon. So make sure you're in the staging area around Mr. G's by 12:30 for the 2:00 parade." Which is pretty hot. There's not much shade there, whatever. So we actually ended up seeing Tim Matthews and some other folks over at the beer garden.
Name dropping.
Yeah, well, Tim, our bud. I can't forget Tim. He's my best bud. But we went over there just to kind of get some shade and BS for a little bit, and we were like standing there, and it's like 12:30, and there's still nobody over there. It's 1:00.
Yeah.
Our group was there, but there were very few people, and I'm thinking to myself, where is everybody? This is so weird. I thought there were
You're
a lot
right.
more
Even the
reenactors in it.
spectators. Well,
But
right. There weren't very
no
many
regiments
reenactment groups.
No, not hardly at all.
Hanover, though, apparently had a really big one. I guess everybody was in Hanover.
Why would anybody want to go there? Over Gettysburg.
Well, that's what Amy, she did commentary for Community Media's broadcast of the Gettysburg Parade. And, we were talking afterwards, and she's like, yeah, apparently, like, Hanover had a really big one this year. And I'm like, why did they get the big one? And, like, we're Gettysburg.
This is Mecca,
It's like
man. When it
we have a
comes to
national
military
cemetery.
history.
It's Memorial Day. And we're Gettysburg. We're a national shrine. Why do we not have
I'll
a big
put you on the spot. I know you're not like officially in this segment, but as the former Adams County Historical Society leader, was this like a big anniversary year for Hanover or something, or was there something you think of?
Not that I know of. I mean, we had, of course, one of our board members, Hal Kushner, who was a POW in Vietnam, was the main speaker for Memorial Day.
Yeah.
Boy, he gave, if you didn't hear it, he gave a tremendous, moving, very inspirational talk related to that. So I can't speak. I was up in the cemetery, so I didn't get to actually see the parade come down. So I didn't see those numbers, but we had a big crowd in the cemetery.
Yeah, maybe everybody was just up at the cemetery and not worried about the parade.
I got to be honest. I thought there were a lot of. Well, full disclosure, I've not been in the parade before ever. Right. Not this one, not the Remembrance Day, nothing. So. 2 little tidbits that when we came off of Lefevre Street, when you first made the left on, I guess that would have been Middle Street. I'm nobody, right? I'm not ex-military. I'm certainly not a Civil War vet. I'm not, I'm nobody.
You wouldn't
I'm
even dress
literally-
up like Thaddeus Stevens,
No,
like I asked.
I wasn't even getting into
That would have been
period
great,
clothing.
though.
I was in t-shirts and a short, right? Or shorts and a t-shirt. I mean, I'm literally nobody, but you come around the corner and people start like applauding. Obviously not you as an individual, but the people that are there. And I could feel myself getting emotional, right? Like just carrying a stupid banner. And I'm thinking to myself, man, I could see how these guys really were getting hyped up. Like this isn't even my community, right? Like I'm a transplant here. Like
but you're a big celebrity around town, right? Of course.
Not marching off to battle, like none of this stuff. But I'm thinking to myself, these young guys, right? If you think of the little communities, the Hanovers, even the New York cities, when they're having their big parades, like those guys knew the people lining the sidewalk. And I'm getting emotional just talking about it. Like I couldn't imagine like that rah feeling of pride and
after accomplishing something big.
Oh my gosh, like being cheered off to war. I mean, like you're not knowing what to expect, but just that
it's got to be the most surreal feeling to go through all that. Yeah.
But my point was when you come, there were quite a few people lining the parade route. I mean, there were a bunch of spectators. I was quite surprised at that. I have nothing to compare it to, but they lined the.
But it still seemed thinner than like when I got there around 1 o'clock, 1:45, I think it was 12:30, 1:45. To the Farnsworth house.
Okay, we must have just missed you.
We probably did.
Yeah.
Debbie was there and Tim was there, and we were commenting, Debbie, right, about how thin the sidewalks were with people, because usually by that point everybody's got their chairs
fighting
out and they're fighting for a spot. But it was like you didn't have to fight for a spot at all.
Now, are you comparing that with the Remembrance Day parades, or are you comparing it to
those
other
are
Memorial
bonkers.
Day?
No, other Memorial Day parades
are off the hook.
Yeah, I remember I did a video back my first stint down here, 05 to 10. I was getting into video, and I did a video of the parade, and I remember it was big. I mean, there were a lot of reenactment groups, whatever the hell you call them, and just a lot of stuff. And the crowd was more enthused, and I don't know. But anyway, it was a beautiful day. It was a great day, and it was nice spending time with everybody. Eric, the producer, was back in town.
I was just getting ready to comment on him.
Yep.
He looked the happiest I've ever seen him.
Well, yeah, because he doesn't live here anymore.
I told Taylor, I said, I think that's why.
Yeah, that's what he said. I guess he didn't like living here. Well, he didn't live in Gettysburg. He lived up in Bendersville, and it's a nice town. I kind of like it up there. It's nice and quiet. I wouldn't mind living there. But I guess it was too quiet for him or something. I don't know. But also his family's up where he is now. It's different.
He's got his own business going.
Yeah, he's got his own little business going. Von Denham & Co. Von Denham & Co. Great fine leather work. We'll get to that later.
What
but anyway,
a segue,
he was here.
It was nice.
Yeah, it was nice to see him. He did a leather demonstration at the Rupp House.
Children's Museum of Gettysburg.
Of course, forgive me, at the Rupp House. And
I think I even said it wrong too. Actually, it's what Children of 1860.
Children of 1860.
Gettysburg, 1860. Yeah. Damn, one of these times. Again, I'll get it one of these times.
We affectionately call it COG.
That's right.
COG, I like that. Yeah.
I'll help me remember.
But he did the leather thing, and I ended up buying 2 notebook covers from him. And I already have one.
Yeah.
But I said, what, these are nice gifts for people. And if not, when I fill that one, now I've got 2 more.
Hey, Wayne, guess who didn't get me a Christmas gift this past Christmas?
Hey, Wayne, guess who had a parasite for the 2 weeks leading into Christmas and couldn't leave the house?
Yeah, six months later,
He's got an excuse.
I know, I was going to say.
Don't help him.
It's like elbows. Everybody's got them.
But I can relate to that. I never do early shopping either. So I guess
for 2025, I'm waiting for this one. Yeah,
I'm a very last minute guy.
I don't even do late shopping. Hey, listen.
Anyway.
You got a birthday coming up. I have a birthday.
Yeah,
we. Right.
A year from now. You got a birthday coming a year from now.
That's a little ways.
All right.
Anyway.
You don't get me a birthday present this year, and we're even.
All right.
Okay.
He better quit while he's at it.
Well, actually, and a Christmas present either, because I didn't get you a birthday present this year, did I?
I don't think so.
Did I not?
I don't think so.
I usually jump on that.
Batting 1,000 over there.
God.
Yeah, I don't think so.
Matt, do you understand that reference?
Of course, I am old, so I might
Yes,
be
it's a football
forgetting
reference, of course. I'm sorry, what?
I'm getting older, so you're off the hook because I might just be forgetting.
Because you forget,
I'll take it for the team.
Man, I've already forgotten what we're talking about. Okay, we also had our Get Out of the Car tour on Saturday. Nice turnout, beautiful weather.
Yeah.
You turned out for that, which is an oddity. You rarely ever come out to those.
If it's too hot or too cold, I'm not interested.
Yeah.
The history will still be there.
But you came out and did you notice how happy the people were to see you, though?
Oh, yeah. No, it was nice to see everybody, really, and to meet some new people.
Yeah.
Twisted 24 or something, or 24
Twisted 24 gauge.
There we go.
He was there. He was
Nice to meet him.
doing a video.
Oh, and I'm bad with names.
Other
Randy,
people?
Steve
Steve.
from State College.
State
Came
College
down,
Steve.
Yeah, with the kepi. He came in and introduced
Oh,
himself.
yeah.
This was
Yeah.
very, very
Very
complimentary
nice guy.
of you. I
Talk-
hate to tell you any nice things.
Really?
It
Because
breaks
he
my
didn't say
heart.
anything to me, so maybe
Yeah, he
you
said
could
it-
tell
he
me
said
what
it-
he
he said
said.
it to me.
No, he said wonderful things to me.
But yeah, it was nice to see everybody. Lots of familiar faces, lots of new faces. It
Yeah.
really, it was a nice crowd.
It was. And what was nice was nobody was talking. Usually there's always like a group of people that separate and then just start talking.
Yeah.
And then I always kind of thought that was rude. But nobody did that this year. I think it was an interesting tour because not everybody knows about Willard's Brigade. Yeah. And we were going to a spot in the field where I guarantee you most of those people never went. In fact, a lot of them told me, they're like, oh, this is great. I'd never been down here. I knew it was here, but I never knew where to go. And so it worked out. And then people cried. We had people crying at the end.
Lewis gave of it. It was poignant because of Memorial Day weekend.
Yeah.
But Lewis did a really nice job incorporating some soldiers' stories and honoring those specific 8 or 9 people that he highlighted. And it was
When he spoke at the end, he started off choked up.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And I didn't have my camera running. And as soon as I started,
Shame on you.
as soon as I started rolling, he started to level out. But it was still a little shaky in the beginning, but I made a video out of it, and that's why I was bummed because I thought it would be good, if you start off with him, crying and then getting. Well, he did.
Yeah, you did.
But I'm not making fun of him.
No, I hope not.
Yeah,
I can kick him in the shins, Lewis. Don't worry. I can reach him from here. I hope not. No, seriously, it was a very emotional time.
Estella cried
at the monument. A bunch of people. I did.
You
I
did?
tears. Yeah.
Yeah, but you didn't speak. Estella was.
No, I was in the back wiping my face like a little kid. It was moving. It really was moving to think of these young guys that were somewhere right around that area, and we know.
Yeah.
That everything they were through with Harper's Ferry and
when they give their age, that's what 19 years old, 21 years old. It's like barely starting out in life, and this is the first, your first foray out into the world, and this is what it is. Yeah. War.
And the crazy thing is it hasn't changed.
I know. I know.
Same, and it's been the same since antiquity.
Exactly. It didn't start with the Civil War. It won't end with the Civil War, and that's the shame of it all. But anyway, that was great. So thank you to everybody for coming out. Thank you for not talking. That was nice. And
big shout out to Ty too. Those logos this year are really cool.
Yeah, he did
those
a really good job with the logos.
Yeah. Really, really nice.
The kid's got talent.
Yeah.
He certainly does have talent. 1863 Designs, ladies and gentlemen. Follow him on Instagram, and he's got good T-shirts and stickers and other designs that he does. You could also hire him to do your logo or whatever. He's very good. And he's very good to work with because, when we get these, if I'll get an idea, I'll be like, all right, I got an idea for a T-shirt. It's this, that, and the other thing. And he'll do a mock-up and he'll send it to me. I'll be like, no, more like this. Yeah. And then he'll do another, and he'll go back and forth, and he doesn't get impatient with me, and
oh boy,
well, he doesn't to my face.
A saint in the making.
Yeah, exactly. And then what else there? There's I guess I think it's the 22nd or 23rd to the 25th. Is that a weekend? I think it is. Yeah. That weekend, that's going to be out, and Dustin Heisey's the guy who's like the impetus behind it all, and he's like the leader of the whole thing, and he a while ago had contacted me about advertising on the show and coming on AG Today and everything like that, and I totally dropped the ball on that because I have a million other things going on, and I just lost track of that whole thing. I called him yesterday and I apologized for that, and I said, but I think I can do you one better. I said, how about I bring community media out there and we'll do a live stream from the event. We'll go around, talk to people, we'll talk to you and everything like that. Maybe if there's a reenactment going on while we're there, we'll get a little bit of it, or just to see what you got going on. And he liked the idea. So we're going to do that. So we're going to be at the reenactment for, a couple hours, just walking around, kind of talking to people and showing what it is. So if you didn't get a chance to get tickets or come out or whatever, and you want to see a taste of it, check out our YouTube channel, like and subscribe and all that stuff. And there's a little notification bell when you subscribe. Click that too so that you know when we're going live or we're uploading something.
Also this weekend, 100 Nights of Taps kicked off.
Oh, yes.
Right, we all
Thank you.
I think, you came late, but...
I did.
As usual.
Yeah. But we
fashionably
ceremony
late.
started this year. Well, actually, spearheaded every night with the licensed battlefield guides giving their free tour of the cemetery. I think that's at 5:30 every night off the Tawny Town exit. followed by the 7 o'clock ceremony at the Soldiers National Monument for 100 Nights of Tap. So that'll run through Labor Day.
And that was really good.
Pretty nice, yeah. That's always an emotional.
I said to Cameron, because Cameron was there with us, and somebody was singing, I think it was America the Beautiful.
I thought you were going to say Bye Bye Miss American Pie.
No, that's terrible.
You said the way
it's
you
a
started.
Memorial Day
and they were
thing.
singing. That's what it sounded like.
Oh, okay. All right, gotcha. And I turned to Cameron and I said, Cam, why don't you get up there and sing a song, next year? And he says to me, you get me a job at Gettysburg, and I'll
sing
do
a
it.
Song.
And
Oh,
I'm
boy.
like, okay, because that makes sense.
Yeah.
That's logical.
Yeah.
But no, so it was nice though. It was really well done. And I got to tell you, the weather in May has been perfect.
Yeah.
This is like the most perfect May I can remember in so long. And coming on the heels of a very rainy April. It was cold and rainy, if you recall. And then we had I think 1 day of rain in May.
Yeah, someone was talking at work the other day that this is supposed to be like the second driest May.
Yeah.
On record or something.
I don't know. I don't have a garden, so I don't keep
I don't
track.
remember much rain this month. But.
No.
Well,
now it's June.
Thanks, Wayne. Somebody cut his mic, okay? I don't know who this guy thinks he is. But...
It's not even your segment yet.
Who invited him? I mean, he's like,
Yeah. Just now, though. We'll give you a 1 day break. We'll give you a 1 day break on that.
Fair enough. It is June. Thank you, Wayne.
Wow.
Okay. All right. I will not be coming back. Thank you very much. 2 years and it'll be another. Maybe never.
You can correct me all you want, Wayne, but you can't do it to Veronica.
Thin skin over here. That's what
She can't handle that.
Very thin skin.
Oh God, that's funny.
Just teasing.
All right. So
Those get me.
that always gets Colby.
They get me so good.
Ooh. Ooh. All right, so what we'll do, let's do this. We'll take a break. By the way, the phone lines are open tonight, so if you want to call in, if you have questions for our guest, Wayne Motts, president of the Gettysburg Foundation, then give us a call, 717-420-1978. And that's it. We'll take a break and come back right after these words.
Aren't you glad you used Dial? We are too. We'll be right back.
Want the freshest cup of coffee in Gettysburg? Then visit Bantam Roasters, formerly 82 Cafe at 82 Steinware Avenue. They roast all of their coffee in-house, and they have a full coffee bar to keep you caffeinated during your trip. Visit them at www.raggededgerc.com for their menu and shipping options for all of their freshly roasted coffee. Use promo code Hancock for 10% off your order in the cafe.
Enjoy historical stories on the History Fix platform. Explore movies, short films, and documentaries. Addressing Gettysburg podcast fans receive an extra $5 off the first year's annual subscription. Sign up at historyfix.com and use promo code Gettysburg. Every subscription includes a 7-day risk-free trial. Escape into history with History Fix.
This episode of Addressing Gettysburg is brought to you in part by me, audiobook narrator Mike Scott. Narrator of Savis Beattie's Bloody Autumn, the Shenandoah Valley Campaign of 1864, and Unlike Anything That Ever Floated, the Monitor and Virginia and the Battle of Hampton Roads. If you are an author or publisher interested in having your titles produced as audiobooks, or even just in learning more about the process, give me a shout. You can find my contact info on my website, MikeScottVoice.com. That's MikeScottVoice.com.
The 1863 civilians of Gettysburg were reluctant witnesses to the Great Battle. Join Ken Rich, the man in the red shirt, for his historic town walking tours. You could book these tours by emailing ken@gettysburgtownhistory.com. That's ken@gettysburgtownhistory.com. And when you're in town, look for the guy in the red shirt.
And Civil War Trails. It's the world's largest open-air museum, and they offer over 1,300 sites across 6 states. Drive the Gettysburg campaign turn by turn, paddle to Frederick Douglass's birthplace, or hike to remote earthworks and artillery positions. Visit civilwartrails.org to request a brochure and explore their interactive map. Follow Civil War Trails and create some history of your own.
You're listening to the Addressing Gettysburg podcast.
with Matt Callery.
You're listening to the man who refuses to travel while single. I love that I never read these before I start this. Okay, all right. You're listening to the man who refuses to travel while single. Here's Matt.
Okay, so we're back.
I haven't been going many places, I take it.
I haven't gone anywhere.
I didn't think so.
No.
I have to tell you, that's my favorite intro to any segment of your show.
Is it?
That gets me every time I hear it.
It's so weird.
Just as much as the ooh.
Ooh. All right. So, again, the phone number is 717-420-1978 if you have any questions for Wayne Motts. But in the meantime, we'll ask him some questions. Wayne, welcome to Addressing Gettysburg, finally.
Thank you, Matt.
You're very welcome.
Thank you, everybody.
You're welcome. And so Wayne, you are the president of the Gettysburg Foundation.
Right.
And I think it's very important that we have you on. We should have had you on long ago so that we could explain to our audience exactly what the Gettysburg Foundation is. What do you do? I mean, the most obvious thing is that the foundation runs the visitor center.
Right.
But you do so much more than that. So tell us.
So the foundation, Matt, is really the philanthropic arm to help the National Park Service. And so our mission, I guess, if you want me to quote it, is that we are working in conjunction with the National Park Service. I'll sort of give you a paraphrase of it, to preserve Gettysburg National Military Park, Eisenhower National Historic Site, and educate the public about the significance of those sites. So
Nice.
we're helping the Park Service, giving them assets, so read into that funding to help on a variety of different projects. And our work is preservation as well as education. So it could be help with land, it could be objects, it could be
lectures,
educational, it could be anything. It could be any of those things. And we actually maintain 4 properties. I think the visitor center is the one that everybody recognizes and knows. The Gettysburg Foundation does own and operate the Gettysburg National Military Park Visitor Center. We have an agreement with the park to run that. It's 15 years old.
Yeah, I know.
This year, and
I remember when it was built.
Right.
I can't believe it.
All the you just think about the millions of people that have passed through those doors to be educated about Gettysburg. What a great place, and just really a unique partnership and unique visitor center. And then, of course, as you probably know, we have the Children of Gettysburg 1863 Museum. We have the train station that Lincoln arrived into, and we have the Spangler Farm, which is a historic Civil War field hospital.
Do you know the public-private partnership that we have with, or you have with the Park Service, is that the first of its kind, or did they have that before?
I don't know if it's the first of its kind. It's cutting edge. It's unique. And so I can't really say it's the first ever of its type, but what we do, I think, is a unique partnership with the National Park Service. A lot of the friends groups don't own and operate, let's say, the building. They might be a friends arm for the Park Service, but it's a little bit different. Of course, the foundation raised all the funding to build the building, which was over $100 million,
right?
Back in 2008. So we're just grateful and appreciative to be the caretakers of that facility, to help the park and to educate the public when they come through the doors of the visitor center. You think back to what the old visitor center was compared to what the new visitor center really is. What huge difference. And for those folks that haven't been there, it's hard to explain the difference of that. But for me, I'm a museum person at heart. So to think when the visitor center was opened in 2008, prior to that, the Park Service never had a place that was temperature and humidity controlled to take care of the artifacts. And it's hard to believe that since 1863, they didn't really have a place like that. And now those artifacts are protected. And of course, I think one of the most significant, I'm hesitant to say the most significant artifact at Gettysburg, but that would be the cyclorama painting. Of course, that's all preserved. And so that was about a $16 million preservation effort, and now properly displayed the way a cyclorama is supposed to look. So if you read in the old cyclorama in the old museum, leagues difference in my view.
I love the cyclorama. That's one of my favorite things. Like I'll go every once in a while. I'll just get a hankering to go there, and so I'll go and I'll get a ticket and I'll go, and it gives me chills every time. It's just, I paint, and I couldn't do a square foot of what that painting is. It's really a remarkable scientific and artistic artifact and everything.
Our first date, bro.
Our first
It was our first date.
What, an evening with the painting?
Yeah, dude, that thing was awesome.
Yeah. With Sue Boardman.
It was a bro date. Let me clarify, bro date. But it was our first date.
I think your wife was there, wasn't she?
She can come along on bro dates,
We do that monthly, and that's a very unique program too.
Yeah.
Of course, that's one of the things I think is really special. So
I always tell everybody to do that.
I've been there 2 years this past month, and what an honor it is to be there to lead.
I know.
It's been a long. I can't hardly believe my anniversary is the 24th of this past month.
And
Don't worry, Matt won't get you a gift. So.
Right.
So, now I forgot my question.
You rattled him so much, Veronica.
It's just like, man. No, wait. What did we just talk about? Oh, the evening with the painting. Yeah. Bro dates, evening with the painting. Well, whatever. Okay, moving on. So, talk about some of the other properties that you have. We mentioned the Children's Museum.
Right.
That was what a year ago it opened.
September of 2021.
So it's another 2 years ago.
It's been 2 years. The train station was open in April of 2022. So we've just completed a year there. And I'm really excited about those because to me, they're different.
Yeah.
So one of the things that the foundation and of course the National Park Service too, we're always trying to do is to attract a younger and more diverse audience.
Yeah, that's tricky.
Both of these two new venues, I think, are arrows in our quiver.
Yeah, I agree.
Tools in our toolbox to help us. There's not one single way to accomplish that, but you've got to have multiple ways to do it. And I'm really excited about what goes on, at these places. Especially the Children's Museum is K to 5, so it's kindergarten through 5th grade, and then the train station is meant. Not for a small, younger group of children, but it's a new experience for all ages, and I just think it's different.
So if it's K to 5, then I'm somewhere in that area because I think that the Children's Museum is great.
Yeah, it really is.
Like I love it. I thought it was
Mom and I went to the adults only after hours.
Right.
And what fundraiser. It was neat. It was a little bit more. It was open first off to the patrons and everything, all adults obviously. But there were some libations and hors d'oeuvres and things like that. But it was really neat. No, they had living historians in the side field, and it was just a neat event, like to have full roam of that and not have to be self-conscious. We were encouraged just to act like kids at heart, and it was really neat. Like we tried on the clothing and we did the puzzles.
I'm telling you, my
really
sister, cool. Once a year, she and her family come down to visit, and they're not really interested in history. I'm trying to get my nephew interested in it, so I've always bought him books and stuff, and he's like, "Oh, thanks," and he tosses them away.
He might grow into it.
I think he will. But I told her about the museum. And I told her about it last year, but they, all the stuff they wanted to squeeze in, and then there was a whole bunch of people that they came down with, and it didn't happen. But we were talking about it a couple of months ago, and she goes, "Oh, what was that museum you said you want to bring the kids to?" And I go, "Oh, that's the Children's Museum." I said, "Yeah, they'll really like that." And she's like, "Yeah, well, let's make sure that we do that this year." So we're going to bring them in this year, and if that doesn't make them history nerds, at least one of them, I'm going to be very upset and disappointed, and not in you guys, but in my nephew.
It's very interactive, and my favorite thing about it, if I could just tell you, because I just think it's fascinating, is that they have for a lack of a better word, a dummy, a model down there that they allow the children to bandage.
Yes.
And they ask the children to write letters.
Yep.
To like the parents and about the wounded. Yep. And they call this figure Bob, and I'm sure Bethany's probably come and told you about this, but they actually get the children to write, and then they have a volunteer that writes back to the and so they
one
actually
of the main
get
volunteers is actually Bethany's mom. Yeah, like they submit the letters, and then Bethany's mom or whatever.
And they'll get it in the mail.
Bethany's mother's the one that answers that. And so that's an interesting exchange. And I don't think anything's broken yet. I was down there when they first previewed it. They had a bunch of children come in. Some of our donors came, and they had children from, grandchildren of the donors, and everybody came, and nobody broke anything immediately. So I'm going like, wow, this is probably going to last. Because usually this stuff in museums, everybody wants it to be real high tech. And, hey, well, let's have it new. So, and then it breaks, in 5 minutes.
Of course.
So
and then you don't use it ever again.
It stood the test of time down there, which I think is really neat. So to me, that's a great opportunity for us to connect everything that happens here at Gettysburg, connect the museum, of course, in the visitor center and in the train station, doing the same thing with Lincoln coming there and then going to the Wills House. One of the characters featured at the train station is Basil Biggs, who's an African-American laborer. He later became a veterinarian, very prominent here in Gettysburg. And believe it or not, his watch inscribed to him is on display at the visitor center in the museum.
No kidding.
So you can connect, and it may be I don't know if it's the only known object that actually belonged to him. I know the Historic Society has paperwork related, I think they have like his veterinary license and some things, but this is an actual watch that belonged to him.
That's pretty cool.
That is really
so.
Yeah, he did a lot. He was part of the reinterment, right?
Correct.
Yeah.
He was one of the African Americans that was tasked and actually reburied the dead.
And then sometime after the battle or after the war, he bought the Fry Farm, which and the copse of trees was part of his property.
Right.
Yeah.
He bought it right around, I think it's around 1865. He died in 1906, and he's buried in the Lincoln Cemetery.
Right. Yeah.
So very, very well known. So he's one of the three characters that you follow in the train station, which is a virtual reality experience. So you follow one of those characters is a soldier, Eli Blanchard, who was in the Iron Brigade, actually worked in the building. Another was Cornelia Hancock, who was a nurse.
Right.
So these are three people that were actually in the, were
there.
in that
Yeah.
structure.
Yeah, I haven't tried that one yet. Every time I go, I always go after hours because it's just my day's all messed up.
Yeah.
But
when you
no.
get a chance, it's open regular hours, and I think it's just unique. I think and you can go and you pick which one of the three characters you want, so you can go 3 times and pick a different one.
Nice.
Through there.
And there's an exhibit in there as well with information and stuff. It's not just the virtual reality.
Right.
There's
But that's the highlight of it.
Absolutely. Yeah.
I remember what I was going to ask you before when Veronica so rudely threw me off. You were
I love to do that to him, by the way. So it's like
You're doing it again. You're doing it again. So, you were the CEO of the National Museum of the Civil War in Harrisburg. Now, what is the big difference between running that and running this? Because this is more than just a museum, what you have here, right?
That's right. That's right. So one of the differences is the focus of what we do. So up at the National Civil War Museum, the focus was the entire Civil War. The exhibits were entire Civil War. The museum was primary. It did have a research library, for example, but you made an appointment to come in. But most people that came to see it is related to coming to the museum. Here, the museum, the National Park Service actually runs the museum.
Right.
We work with them to talk about exhibit planning and other type things. But for here, it's a much larger view, and the view is centric on Gettysburg, I should say.
Right. Well, I've always wondered this because it's a nonprofit, right? So what is the job of the president of a nonprofit? Because it sounds like a headache to me. What do you do?
Well, I would say in most cases, you're the leader of the team. In every case, you're the leader of the team, and all the different aspects of what that nonprofit does. A great portion of what you do, of course, is to talk to donors and talk about fundraising. That's a big part of what you do, to be an active part in that, and also to be chief cheerleader. One of the things is to be the face of the organization, go out, talk about what you do, connect partnerships with different groups to work with. So being the president and CEO, you get to lead the team, and I'll tell you, I've got a tremendous team of people. I can't tell you how great the team at the foundation is, and that team not only includes the board of directors, because we, as a nonprofit, we have a managing board. They're from all over the country. It includes the staff of the Gettysburg Foundation. It also includes a huge amount of volunteers. We have 100 regular volunteers that volunteer for us, not counting those that come in for like volunteer work day.
Which, tell me about that, because that's this weekend, right?
Yeah, that's right. So we have our annual volunteer work day where the park comes and said, here's some priorities we'd like to work on. Will you help us with that? And then a member of our staff, Aaron Pierce, coordinates all that. We've got 250 folks registered to come out for that. And this year they're going to focus on, they've got some fence building on the north and south end of the battlefield. They're also going to do some cleaning at Eisenhower Farm. And we always, almost always, as far as I know, paint tombstones and clean tombstones in the National Cemetery. Those are huge. So I usually... when the folks sign up, they go to one of those places and do that work for basically the whole day. Of course, me, I want to go out and talk to everybody. So part of the things I'm doing, I think they think that, Wayne's only here for 5 minutes and he's out. he's out doing something. But actually, I'm going out to talk to everybody because I love to talk. Part of my problem is I just love to talk to the members. We've got 22,000 members and donors and supporters. So as the president of the foundation, one of my greatest honors and duties is to go out and to talk to everyone. And really tell everybody about what we do, why it's important, why we need to do it. Of course, fundraising is a major part of what we do, as well as management. And I've got a lot of folks to help us.
That's got to be tough managing all that. I mean, the electric bill alone on that building has to be astronomical. Or do you produce your own electricity?
We don't produce our own electricity, but we do have a LEED certified building. And so our building engineered and designed for effectiveness, for sustainability. We have geothermal wells, for example.
Right.
So the maintenance staff has told me over the years that they've made about 1 million adjustments. An adjustment could be the replacement of one bulb, the changing of what the thermostat may be, but the maintenance staff has made about 1 million different adjustments to make that building as absolutely as efficient as possible. Really, but the bottom line is a huge portion of the museum of the building, I should say, is the museum and not the office or storage. So unlike if you're not a museum person, you might not think, well, we're in an office building. Well, at nighttime we can, adjust the temperature and make it lower and change all that. In the building here, a lot of these spaces have to be heated and cooled and humidity controlled to museum standard.
Yeah.
So
not only do you have all the exhibits, but you've got the cyclorama, which has to be in a specific environment.
Exactly right.
God, man, that's a lot.
So so all the places I've worked, it's just been wonderful. So when I was at the Historical Society, of course, it was a much smaller place. Now, kudos to the folks there and to Andrew and everything they've done there to open up a new building. But I've started out with a $200,000 budget when I was executive director at the Historical Society, and then at the National Civil War Museum, I went to about a budget of $1.2 million as the CEO, and here as president and CEO, about $14 million. So progressively, it's gotten bigger. So we all see electric bill, Matt, it's just bigger. So for a 139,000 square foot building, it's big. It's big responsibility. So fortunately for me, we've got such a great staff, very dedicated and trained to do all these things. So
is that nerve-wracking being at the helm when you have a budget that big? That would freak me out. $14 million.
It's not when you have a vice president of finance that helps you, and you've got a finance committee of the board that monitors all those things. I never was a big financial person, so at the places that I've worked, I had people that took me under their wing and said, Wayne, here's some things you have to know about nonprofit management. So to run a nonprofit, especially the one like we have here, you can't just be a Civil War expert. You can't just know about the Civil War. You have to know about a lot of things. Nonprofit management, of course, is one of them. Fundraising is one of those things. You've got to understand some finances, but you've got a lot of help in these things.
And but it must help to be a Civil War guy, though. I mean, that's got to help it a little bit, right?
Well, for me, I think I've always told everybody, for me, it's great strength because I can talk to folks and relate. When you're talking to people that are interested in the things that we're interested in, when you're talking to folks that are interested, hey, I'd like to donate, but can you tell me about certain things? You can't sell, and sell maybe, I don't want to use that in a negative term, but you can't advocate for something you don't know.
Sure.
If you don't know, you can't advocate for it. So the more you, exactly.
Yeah,
so the more you know about it, the easier it is for you to talk about these things. So I don't have to drag 3 people into the room when we say, hey, we want to go out and talk about, Barlow's Knoll or, wherever some of these places are. So for me, it gives me great strength in the background where I've been. And for me, a lot of this is personal. All my life, I've been interested in it. I've had great interest in it. And so for me, I'm just honored to be part of trying to preserve this. And I tell everybody, look at the long vision here. Look at the long view. And I've been here an awful lot of years. When I first came to the battlefield, you drive down Emmitsburg Road, what do you see? You see power lines.
Power lines, yeah.
You don't see them anymore.
And hotels and houses.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I mean, when I was a kid, you'd go up to the Peace Light, you'd see the Peace Light Inn. I mean, the best dancing in town, but it's not, if you're a Civil War guy, it's not one you want to see, or Civil War person.
I can't imagine that, though.
I tell everybody, preservation has never been better here. It never has been better here. If you look 10 years, 20 years, 30 years, 40 years, 50 years.
Yep.
And Steve Sims, the superintendent of the park, give him a shout out. He's our partner. And he always says to me, Wayne, we're in the forever business. He tells everybody that. And that's true. You've got to think long term. Yeah. You can't just think, what are we going to be here doing tomorrow? So I think everything we're setting up, everything we're trying to do, everything we're working on, really, it's for long term.
Yeah. And that's a heavy weight to carry on your shoulders, too, because you're right. It's not about tomorrow. If it's about tomorrow and you mess up, okay, fine, we'll do better the next day. Yeah. But this is legacy stuff. You're continuing things. You know what's funny? You mentioned about like how preservation is at its best today. And I'll agree with you, because when I see pictures of the Emmitsburg Road, for example, with Stuckey's and, what is that, the 66th Pennsylvania? What's that monument right in the corner?
62nd.
62nd, one of them.
Yeah.
And there's a Stuckey's behind it. It blows my mind, right? And it's abhorrent to me, but that's because I've been coming here since preservation has gotten really good. I'm spoiled,
right?
I think there was that brick house that was further south on the Emmitsburg Road, right before you get on the South Confederate. That was there when I started coming. And what was the little motel next to the Pickett's Buffet? Was that
Home Sweet Home?
Home Sweet Home. That's right. That I think was there.
Yeah.
But that's it for me.
Yeah.
So I didn't see the Stuckey's. I didn't see I didn't see the Texaco by the Buford statue.
Right.
It was a Texaco? There was a gas station out there.
There was a museum there, too. Shields Museum. There was a museum.
Oh, my God.
Two of the Battlefield Guides. Wow. Battlefield Guides families. And they used to have places down where South Confederate strikes Emmitsburg Road. They used to call that place Pinch Gut. Like your gut. And the guides had all the stands there. So many of them had businesses there. Many of them, they weren't all battlefield establishments, but there were a lot of businesses down there at the south end. The Shields brothers, they were both battlefield guides, Wayne and Glenn Shields. Their families had a museum that was across from the Buford statue, or right next to where Buford was, across the road from the Comfort Station.
Wow.
If you remember. So, I just think if we think about where we're at now versus where we have been. So these steps take a long time. And I know sometimes that frustrates a lot of folks. Hey, why does this take so long? Why are we doing this?
Yeah.
But I think the end result, you can see it. And for somebody that's been here an awful long time, as time goes on, you can really see the vast differences.
I always hear people saying, why is it taking them so long to take back Colt Park? And I was like, good luck with that.
We still have to have a town. We have to live it. And so it's hard.
But there's a balance
between... You try to balance these things.
things.
You've got people that are coming here to visit, but the battlefield grounds, you know, the 6,000 acres that are out there, are just tremendous. And I'm proud to say that the Gettysburg Foundation, the burial of the power lines was one of the first projects that the Friends of the National Parks of Gettysburg did.
Okay.
One of the first things they ever did when they were founded in 1989. So the foundation dates to 1999 and was created really to build the visitor center, raise money for that. But in 2006, we merged with the Friends of the National Parks of Gettysburg because we really didn't have a membership wing. Yeah. So that's sort of the membership wing. So preservation for the Friends group goes back, more than 30 years.
When the Friends did that, was that funded by Ted Turner or partially by Ted Turner? Wasn't that the deal with the movie? Something?
I'm not sure about all that.
Okay.
We'd have to ask
Have
the
you heard
co-chair.
that before?
Probably our co-chair, Barbara Frenfrock, would probably know that answer, but I don't know that answer myself. I'm really not sure where all that funding came from. I know it was funded there. I'm sure there were grants that were available as well. And then they also not only did the Emmitsburg Road, but they did some of the side roads, Wheatfield Road and Millerstown Road. Okay. Those roads were...
Those had power lines?
Yeah.
Really?
Those also had the power lines.
See, that's all before my time,
Then we did the power line at Devil's Den. We took that down. Of course, in the Comfort Station, there was a Comfort Station inside Devil's Den, power line that went to that.
Yes.
Preservation raised to help take care of that. The 6 equestrian statues in 2020, they were cleaned and repaired. We raised money, for all that. Of course, Little Round Top, we are our donors and the funds we secured at the Gettysburg Foundation, $3.2 million for that project. So we were the single biggest group. I think ABT did $2 million. We were like the single single biggest group to come in with donors for that.
Is there a way to get the Gettysburg Foundation to fundraise for addressing Gettysburg?
Yeah, and I tell you, when you've got a great team like our philanthropy, they're working on this. They're working on this 24 hours a day.
Yeah.
And one of the things that they've really built, which is really great for me as president CEO, and for the long-term health of the foundation, and by extension, of course, the battlefield and all we do, is our guardian society of people that have given like portions of their estate. So they've told us that in their will, we're going to be. So we have a number of people that have said, "Hey, we want to help."
Yeah.
And when we're gone, we're gonna help you with these things.
By the way, listeners to Addressing
like
Gettysburg can do the same thing anytime they want.
I have a question,
go
or
ahead.
maybe a suggestion. I think, unfortunately, I know the answer to this, but I'll try.
Okay.
So when you were with the American Civil War Museum, National Civil War Museum in Harrisburg, I was lucky enough to be on one of your, I don't know if they had a title or not, but behind the scenes kind of tour, right? I think Jody Wilson was kind enough to get our book club in there. Now, I think I know the answer, but here, would that be something that, like a fundraising, like much like you do Evening with the Painting, like some special event you could do periodically? I know the Park Service, I guess, technically owns those items, but would there be any way to do some kind of something similar, something like a behind-the-scenes tour, or do you do that and it's just not for peons like us?
Well, it's very interesting that you bring that up, because I want you to stay tuned for that.
Cool.
Okay, I'm not ready to make a public announcement here tonight, but first of all,
okay. Nobody watches the show.
First of all, the artifacts that the park has are under park jurisdiction and park purview, and there's things obviously that can and cannot be done with those. But the foundation owns a group of artifacts that used to be part of the Civil War Museum in Philadelphia collection.
Oh, wow.
And we also have a few other items. We don't have a large collection, so those are some things that I would stay tuned for that, Veronica, because I love doing those kind of things, and we did that at the National Civil War Museum and took some artifacts out and did special evenings with them. So the Park Service artifacts, though, are under park jurisdiction and in storage, but we do have some artifacts that we have the ability to work with on that.
You mentioned 6 equestrian statues, but how about 6 questions from Mike Lentz? Mike, you're on the air.
Okay.
You're on the air, Mike.
Good evening, and thank you, Wayne, for coming on the show and talking about the foundation. And I really do thank you for all that you do with the foundation, especially in partnership with Little Round Top Rehabilitation. Up there, it's been fantastic seeing the progress going on up there. For those who want to donate to the foundation, are there any sort of perks that might come along with donating that might actually get them a sneak peek to see what's going on up there?
Well, that's a good question. So first of all, there's a couple different things you should know. If you go to the website, we've got a couple spots. First of all, right when you get on the website, you're going to see 2 things: buy tickets or donate. So you can go and you can donate to certain funds that we have, which would include like the Culps Hill Endowment, for example. You can donate to Spangler Farm, for example. We have a Gettysburg Fund, which is unrestricted donations that really come in for our best needs. Obviously, as President CEO, I'm always looking for folks to help us in an unrestricted manner. And then the second thing under Join and Give are going to be memberships. And so, Mike, what you're talking about are some membership perks. We had a tour for our First Corps members this past April when we had our spring muster. Okay. So there are cases where that comes into play, and you could check some of that, when it comes to what some of the benefits are at those different levels. So you can get on there. One of the things you can do is join right away, and that really helps us. And you can be part of it. Get the advance notice. You also can go on the website right away and sign up for like our e-alerts, like our alerts when we have, hey, we're going to do volunteer work day.
Yeah, right.
And you can get signed up for that. So I also want to shout out to Mike, because Mike, I remember, is one of 2 people that I know that last year, and Mike can correct me if I'm wrong, but I think you attended like every one of the Sacred Trusts. You were like at every one of them.
Yes,
and I'm thinking like, I got to be here. But Mike went, and we actually had, last year we had 15 in a day. We had 5 each day, July 1st, 2nd, 3rd, and then we had 3 at night. My staff said, Wade, too much. So they asked if I would do 4 in the day now. So we're going to do 12 and then 3. So we're going to do 15
That's still a lot. Yeah.
It's still a lot. I didn't yield too much on it, but we gave a little bit more time over lunch. But I want to give Mike a shout out because I know he was one of 2 people. He just camped out over there, Mike. And I hope you.
He had the ideal spot in front of one of the fans. I remember that. That was perfect.
Mike is definitely his brain is like a sponge. Like he goes to all these things and he retains it, and I'm very jealous of his brain because mine forgets everything. Like birthdays and Christmas. So anything else, Mike? You usually have 6 questions.
Yeah, that dovetails back into what I was going to ask next. The Sacred Trust Talk this year. So what are some of the highlights of that this year, and where can people find more information about that?
Well, thanks. So you can go to the Gettysburg Foundation website, and Sacred Trust is under the events. We have all the events posted now, and we actually have the times. Veronica, you went over that on one of your recent updates.
Yeah, a couple weeks ago.
That you did here a couple weeks ago, and those are all good. July 1st, 2nd, and 3rd, we're going to have the 3 evening talks. We're going to have William C. Davis, Jack Davis, very well-known Civil War historian. He's written, as you mentioned, many more books than we can all count.
I don't think I've read that many in my life.
And stuff on the Alamo. I mean, he's got some really great material.
He used to be on like every documentary on the History Channel.
Yeah. He's very, very well known, and we're so happy to have him on the 1st. And then the 2nd, we're going to have Jeff Shara, but we're going to do this a little different because I'm going to sit up front and sort of interview Jeff Shara. It's not going to be him talking. I'm really looking forward to that. We haven't gone over what the questions are going to be yet, but we're going to talk about just being in a conversation with him. Yeah, which I really.
You don't need to go over questions with him. I've interviewed him twice. You can just talk.
You don't need it. You just got to. And then the third night, we're going to have Gary Gallagher come. And he's going to talk about Bruce Catton because he's just taken the 3 volumes of Bruce Catton for the history of the Civil War and put them into a single volume.
That's right.
So we've got those 3. And as Veronica noted,
Library of America, like 1,200 pages.
Yeah, I mean, how do you get 3 volumes into one? I don't know.
It's unabridged.
Gary Gallagher, he's going to tell us. He's going to tell us how he did it.
I'm looking forward to that.
So we're really excited about that. So as Veronica noted, we are going to do something a little different. We are going to have a dinner with Jack Davis on July 1st, and we are going to sell tickets just basically to cover this isn't a money-making thing for us, to cover some of the dinner. And we didn't ask Jack Davis to do an official talk, just meet and greet and talk to the folks that are at the dinner. And those folks will get a ticket to go into the presentation on the 1st. All the presentations are free, as you had noted, Veronica. And then for Jeff Shara, for Jack Davis and for Jeff Shara and Gary Gallagher, the tickets will go, quote, on sale. There's no sale because there's no It's going to be on the 13th at 8 o'clock in the morning for Jack Davis, the 14th at 8 o'clock in the morning for Jeff Shara, and the 15th at 8 o'clock in the morning for Gary Gallagher. And we do that so that we can, have limited space that are in there. But I'm going to tell everybody, and I'm going to tell you something you probably didn't know, which is interesting. So last year when we did this, and we offered it free, and we're all about having stuff for free. I'd love to have it for free. But last year we had a number of people that got tickets and didn't come. And that closed a number of people out from being able to attend.
That's why you make them pay.
So, we thought. So I do know this year I think they'll limit the transactions that people make. So you can't go on and get like 10 tickets. Yeah. But I'll tell you something else you didn't know, which is interesting. We actually found somebody that scalped the tickets. And then when we found out about that, we
really.
Oh my God!
So I guess that's the ultimate success of being. Wow, this is great. Maybe people want to go. So we quickly fixed that. Quickly took that down. But we want you to know all the talks in the daytime are free. They will be in the tent right out in front, and they all are on the website with all the noted. And we'll set up the chairs that's there for everybody to come. They will be recorded, but they will not be live streamed. We will record all of them, and like we did last time, we're going to put them on the YouTube channel, and then people can go to the YouTube channel. And this past time, we put 2 up a month. So actually mine, I think, was one of the last that just got put up.
Okay, from last year.
From like last year to sort of tease everybody. But, so
that's a good idea.
It's Matt, it's the way that we wanted to do it. And I'm a little... selfish, I guess. I wanted the foundation to be able to have that content on the YouTube
Yeah.
site. So any of the little monetization that could come off the YouTube site,
Sure.
would
That
go
helps.
would go to foundation.
Sure. Yeah.
What it is, but all the talks will be available to folks. They won't be immediate because we want everybody to come, and of course we're going to have everybody signing books too. So the authors that have books will be signing 1 hour after they do their talk. At least that they may sign longer, but they're going to be there for 1 hour. And we've got a great, Mike, you mentioned we've got a great lineup of people and a very variety topic. I really didn't go, and I shouldn't say me, but myself, Carol Reardon, who's the chairman of our education committee, Chris Quinn, chief interpretation. We're the ones that are looking to say what's out there. And we're really looking for like new scholarship. So a lot of what's a new book out? What's something that people are talking about? We have alcohol in the Civil War. Somebody's going to talk about that.
Megan Beaver?
Yes.
Yes, I interviewed her last winter. Yeah.
Yeah, she's going to come and she's going to talk about that. And Bob O'Neill, a friend of mine, is going to talk about Aldie, Middleburg, Upperville, the cavalry actions before
nice.
Gettysburg. He's got a brand new book out about that.
Yeah, yeah.
Samples of O.B. Joyful.
Will they have any samples of O.B. Joyful? Will Megan bring samples of O.B. Joyful when she's giving a talk about alcohol? Is that what you're saying?
Is that what you mean?
That's what I'm asking.
I don't know. The band? I don't know.
Try it.
You want to?
Yeah.
No, I don't think so.
All the stuff for Sacred Trust is on the website, and you can find all the information that's on there. We're really looking forward to it. We thank the National Park Service, our partners. We're co-sponsoring all that. And, of course, they're going to have the full range of summer programs. Chris Quinn is going to have those available. Those will be available in the next couple of weeks. And,
They actually published those.
Okay, so they got okay. All right, all right.
Let me just say this. People who love the park and all the stuff that the Park Service puts on and is able to do, I think maybe you're realizing now from this interview that a lot of that is enabled by the support coming from the foundation. And so it's important to support the foundation because the Park Service, they get a budget that Congress decides and then, it filters down to the individual parks. They can't just make money out of nothing, right? And if they need something done, they need help doing it. Right. And it's not always in their annual budget. And so this is a great thing, especially for Gettysburg. Yeah. This is some small little park in the middle of nowhere that nobody ever goes to. You don't need a public-private thing. But for Gettysburg, with the amount of visitors it gets, with how much people love this place and want to see it remain and preserve more of it if possible, you need to kind of pony up and help out and stuff like that. And then the foundation is the way to do that. It's probably the best way to do it, right? Yeah.
I mean, the visitor center alone, if that was the only thing that the foundation contributed to the park, that would be amazing. But all the other things that you guys do and help with is it's outstanding. You guys are you're participating in preserving by far the most beautiful of all the battlefields that we have in this country. So I couldn't agree with you more, Matt. That's
Thank you, Colby.
Awesome.
Thank you very much.
And we also want to mention that one of our tasks too is to support Eisenhower National Historic Site. I know sometimes
that's
it's
a great
often
point.
not mentioned, and we've got to mention that we've got the President's Home here. It's tremendous.
Yeah.
And in November, the Gettysburg Foundation through Raise the Paddle raised $187,000, and we just donated that over to Eisenhower Site directly to help them with lighting improvements. That are going to be inside the house.
Just one fundraiser for addressing Gettysburg. Couldn't you do just one?
Feel a nibble on that one?
Yeah.
No, so far he's not buying it.
Wayne's too polite.
I can tell by the look in his eyes he's not buying it, Colby.
Hey, I've got enough. It's hard for me. I laugh because everybody's looking and say, "Here comes Wayne." And when I was around the fundraisers, they would always say, "Boy, if they go away, they'll write your check and go away." How long, Wayne, will that keep you away for a while, depending on what you write on there? But I tell you, I've never had a problem doing it. I know that the staff does a tremendous job in working because people believe in it, and we believe in it, and you see the results. All you have to do is go around and take a look at what the results are here, and they're tremendous. So we're just grateful for the support that everybody gives us, gives to the park. Grateful for that partnership, and for me, as somebody that's run around here as a little kid, to come back and now say, "Hey, Wayne, you can make a difference here." and that's all I wanted to do
Yeah.
here. When I was little, Colonel Jacob Sheeds, who took John F. Kennedy around the battlefield, I remember when I knew him when I was younger, and I'm not a native of Gettysburg, so I would come, but when I was older, when I first became a battlefield guide here many years ago, he said to me, Gawain, it's up to you. He said, I'm leaving this in your hands now. I'm an older man. I'm not going to be here, and it's up to you and people like you to make sure we get people that are younger. And I tell you, we've got a serious crisis in history education in this country.
Yeah, we
serious.
do.
I just looked at the nation's report card, and in 1994, the test for 8th graders now in 2022. So it's been over almost 30, we're talking 30 years here almost. And we're down 1 point from what it was in 1994. We've made no headway in that whatsoever. And it's really scary.
College graduates can't take that test today.
Yeah,
colleges aren't even offering history degrees. Our friend Kelly Mazurek at her college, I apologize for forgetting, she posted on Instagram just this year that was the last graduate that will graduate out of that college with a with a history degree because they got rid of their whatever BS in history. They're just not offering it anymore, and it was.
Oh my God!
Yeah, I mean, so just different. I mean, now that's one college, right?
Yeah, but how many more?
So that's why what we're doing here is so important. We're talking about it. First of all, addressing Gettysburg, getting the word out to everybody, and then second of all, the preservation and education work that's done. We're trying to set that up for future generations when they come here. As you know, April and May is huge for school children. You see it. It's
a sea of buses down here.
And for some people, for some kids, it'll be the only experience they ever have.
Yeah.
I mean, outside a classroom. Related to Civil War or on a trip going down to Washington, D.C. So we've got to keep working on that, I think.
717-420-1978 is the phone number if you want to call in. We got a couple more minutes. Go ahead, Ronnie.
Question too. The Sherfy House, is that foundation property, park property?
No.
Who?
The Sherfy House is park property. The foundation has a lease on it.
I see. Okay.
And we put guests into the home. It's not an Airbnb. We don't.
Right. When you have like Stephen Lang come, he'll stay there or something like that. I'm not specifically him.
We have that we want to put in there. We can put people into there, but it's not an Airbnb.
You don't maintain the property or anything like that.
Yes, we have an agreement with it. Okay. So there are some portions of that agreement which the park is responsible for, and then some which we're responsible.
Okay, gotcha.
I knew somebody who was staying there once, and you were with me. Yeah, they invited us out, and it was so cool to go out in the backyard at night. And just sit out there in the middle of the field and everything like that. It was pretty neat.
A lot of history.
Yeah.
A lot of history.
Yeah. And all the bullet holes in the walls inside. I mean, it's so cool. And the kitchen is great. I love the kitchen.
Well, it's got modern. Yeah, we wouldn't want to tell everybody, the listeners and the viewers, that hey, it's like 1863. You don't have to hand pump a well.
No.
The Sherfy House. It's a little better than that.
No, it's very. You guys do a great job with it. It's very cozy and all the plumbing and electricity. It's got it all.
Yeah. So sometimes when the park has speakers or something that they need to put up to, we can we do those things. So we use it for those purposes.
It's
educational. It's really too, because when people stay there, it's special.
Oh sure.
Yeah. It's a nice arrangement that you guys have at the park, and I think it's great because, like I said, I think the park, if they were left to just whatever they get from Congress, the park that we enjoy today would not be what it is. So kudos to the foundation for everything you guys do.
Thanks to the whole team and to all the donors and supporters of the foundation. And you had Steve Sims here, so you know the challenges that he and the National Park Service faces.
I said the same thing to him as I say to you. It sounds like a headache having your job.
When you're able to make a decision and you're talking to the park and you're saying, hey, we need this over here, can you help us? And you say yes and you see results, that's what makes everything. Then you go downstairs, Matt, and I go downstairs all the time. So when I'm working in the building, I think it's surprising. I usually come down twice a day. I come down in the morning because the Friends desk, our volunteer desk, our regular staff really doesn't change. Like the park staff is there for the whole day, but the volunteers change in the morning and the afternoon. So I usually go down twice a day and go down and say hi to everybody. And I'll start talking to people down there. They have no idea who I am. I'll go over to a bench and say, you know what, I've worked here. I've never sat on this bench. And I'll go down here and sit and I'll start I'll start talking to people. Say, hey, where are you from? The person tells me where they're from, and hey, what brings you here to Gettysburg?
Yep.
And boy, you learn a tremendous lot, and the look in their eyes and how much they appreciate this place and what it means. You can't get that anywhere else and understand it unless you're down there talking to the people. And it's just wonderful to go down there and talk to people and get their impression, because to them, this place is great, and of course to us. And so you never lose sight about how important what you do really is, how important what the foundation does really is, what the park does. Yeah. You don't lose sight of that. You just kind of go down there and talk to people.
I'll give you a little kudos. So for a little while, I was able to have some free time during the week, and I volunteered a little bit at the foundations. So that would have been under Dave Melgy's, temporary
tutelage. I like the word tutelage.
And what a nice guy he is, right?
And Dave's a people person too.
Absolutely.
So David is a guy also doing the things that I'm talking about. Here.
But my kudos to you and Dave in extension, but you specifically, was that the volunteers really took notice that you didn't just walk past them and go to your office. You made eye contact. You thanked them sincerely for, they're volunteers. They don't have to be there. And the fact that you go out of your way and really acknowledge them and everything like that, I know that it's seen and it's appreciated. So
I appreciate that. We couldn't do our work without all of them. We just wouldn't be there. I went out to the Spangler Farm for Family Free Day. We had Family Free Day this past Saturday at Spangler Farm for Memorial Day.
Just giving away families for free?
Well, you want one? Yeah. He says he won't travel alone.
I won't travel alone.
He listens.
You want to travel? We could probably make that.
Yeah, give me a family. I'll go on a vacation. But who wants to go to Cancun?
They told me that they had. I went earlier in the morning. I went and did some things in the morning and then came over. But I think they had 500 people out there that day.
Wow.
Tremendous. They had 500 people. So the Spangler Farm you can visit. Our season's going to start there. I think it's 9 June. I actually wrote it down because I knew there would be times that I wouldn't be able to mention that. So you can go out there. It's like, I think, the 9th of June through like the 15th through August, through the mid of August. Check the website further to make sure you get all the details on that. But
what is the website?
GettysburgFoundation.org. GettysburgFoundation.org.
.org.
Yeah, .org. So, and I went out there and they had living history and everything. It was tremendous. Yeah. The one project I do want to mention, because I don't want to get out of here before I forget about it, is a project that we're working on right now. So Little Round Top, as you know, we contributed to funding. That's ongoing. What are we raising money for right now, today? And the money we're raising right now today are for park positions that are in the museum and curatorial branch to maintain, catalog, process, and display the artifacts at Gettysburg National Military Park. Wow. And when I came here as a battlefield guide 35 years ago, that long ago, there were 4 or 5 full-time National Park Service employees in the curatorial branch. Today, there is 1.
Oh,
really?
That's Greg Goodell. And you're sitting on 1.2 million items that are downstairs. So the foundation has picked up the gauntlet and accepted the challenge to raise some funding to help give positions to the park to help with that collection. And that includes everything that's being found on Little Round Top. All that stuff found on Little Round Top has got to be cataloged, it's got to be processed, it's got to be kept. Yeah. And so we're going to work with the park, and hopefully we can also get a revolving exhibit plan, get some more of this stuff out on display. And I'm as a museum person myself, as I mentioned, I'm really looking forward to that. So
that'd be
our
great.
spring appeal, we just went out and asked for some funding for some of those positions. We've raised over $100,000 for that right now. So long term, and those will be positions that the foundation will have to support going forward. It won't be just a one-off thing. So
you'll have some very mad employees on your hands.
It's a significant investment. Some of those folks will work for us and be working in partnership with the park. Some of those positions have to work as National Park Service employees. So we'll be giving money, superintendent, and then those will be hired as NPS.
Great.
Yeah.
And so who do you go to when you like go out and get funds? Like, who do you go to? Do you go to corporations? Do you go to the Civil War roundtables? Like, where do you go?
Check all the above.
All the above.
There's no one that's spared. No one is spared. So we also have built up over the years, as you know, a group of very loyal and supportive donors, and we also know in some cases what they're interested in. So in some cases, if we know that donor might be interested more in artifacts, then we might go there for a particular ask, or land, or hey, this is something you supported in the past. Would you like to support that? The foundation also seeks corporate funding. It seeks grant funding. We have a grant person with us that works on grant funding for that. It's there, educational funding related to that. So we're always looking at the different pots of funding as to where that might be. And of course, as you know, we also earn income to help maintain the building and other things that's here through ticket sales and tours and all these things.
All right, great. Mike, thank you for the call and the questions. Got another caller here I'm going to get to.
Much appreciated.
All right, you're welcome. Have a good night. All right, we got somebody, looks like from my old stomping grounds, New Jersey, with a 908 area code there. Is this Matt Kelly?
Yes, it is. How are you?
Good, how are you?
Good. I had a quick question. First of all, I wanted to say I commend both of you for addressing Gettysburg and for Wayne Mott for doing all the work you guys have done.
Thank you.
With Gettysburg. I've been going after since 1981. I had the pleasure of meeting you a couple months ago at one of your seminars you did. But I mean, comparing 1981 to now, I mean, the Gettysburg area has just bloomed, and it's so nice to see you guys bringing the history to the town, because you see, unfortunately, all these other battlefields dwindling away.
Mm-hmm.
And it's unfortunate, but it's nice to see Gettysburg thriving. So I just wanted to commend you both on that. I just had two random questions for you. Does anybody know what's going on with the Klingel farm and why it's in such bad shape?
So, Matt, I don't have the answers on the Klingel farm. My answer would come when somebody says, "Wayne, we need help on these projects." So that's a question that should be asked to Steve Sims.
Steve Sims, yeah.
I don't know when you'll have him on next, but he can tell you what all the ins and outs of that. I know
the
it's
very
stabilized.
little bit that I know is the reason there's a problem is because when they painted it, they used latex paint, which trapped the moisture in the wood, and the wood rotted.
I think Steve actually touched on it. I'm pretty sure when he was
did.
on.
I don't know what the latest is, though.
It's reinforced. They have a bunch of the plastic protecting what's protectable, and I know they're reinforcing the interior and the exterior if you go around the actual the house itself. They're trying to rehabilitate that for sure. So
the superintendent is very concerned about it, and I know he's addressing and working on it as much as he can. But that's on that side of the table. So when they need funding, they'll come to me, Matt.
Then Wayne will have all the answers for you.
Sorry, I don't have the answer to that question.
What's your other question, Matt?
No worries. The other question is I see a lot of information coming up about like the civilians of Gettysburg and the stories that they went through. There's one particular person involved in Gettysburg that ever since as a kid I've heard about him, but you don't hear anything more than his name and a little bit. And it's that Gettysburg ghoul. I guess his name was Godsford or something, and he was caught. Or he got arrested for looting the dead soldiers on the battlefield.
Yeah.
Like, there's nothing heard of him before, during, or after. I didn't know if you or Wayne or anybody else had any kind of information on it.
I don't know anything more than what you just said.
Yeah, I don't know either. We should have. I had a conversation with Tim Smith about something related to this, because I tell you, we pulled some records down at the National Archives from the Quartermaster Corps where they put people after the battle they caught taking things off the battlefield. They put everybody to work cleaning up.
Yeah.
And I think and some of these people were known, in the town. Their names were well known.
Right.
So I don't have anything specific on this person, but there's a story to be told.
Oh yeah.
Related to the thing.
Matt, next time we have Tim on, if anybody's going to know, it'll be Tim. Yeah. In fact, I heard about the Gettysburg Ghoul from Tim.
Yeah. Okay.
So.
Yeah, I did like the fact that you said that you could move Gary Edelman, but not Wayne Motts. But then you said, but it's really because of the photography. So I was in great shape over here, and then you mentioned that, and I'm going like, oh crap.
I'm sorry, I should have just shut up. I didn't mean to burst your bubble.
Gary and I, being longtime friends, and I love Gary to death, and I tell you, I just think here's an individual that everything he does extremely well.
Yeah.
He's always been highly motivated. And he can tell you, show you his goals probably from 8th grade here today.
Oh,
but
yeah.
when he and
He
I
probably
started,
carries
and
them in his pocket.
I was a battlefield guide a little ahead of him, but when we started battlefield guiding, he and I were the only guides that could go to the official guide clothier and have 28-inch waist. There were only 2 of us. And Gary, I think, still has 28-inch waist. Wayne Motts doesn't.
Yeah, you're 32 now.
But I'm not too far.
Yeah,
but Gary's much better. But I used to get a kick because he and I were the only ones. They would keep these 28-inch pants just for him and I. We're the only 2 guys who could buy them. And
That's awesome.
I get such a kick out of that. So he's been a good friend for many years and very dedicated individual and doing tremendous work at American Battlefield Trust. And of course, we at the foundation, when we can, partner with the trust on certain things. We did it on a piece of ground that was here on the Baltimore Pike. When we're able to partner together, Veronica, you just mentioned we had a great announcement for the 2024 convention for American Battlefield Trust, which is coming here. Those details are all going to be worked out. But we've got all the groups of people here in town. It's tremendous. And Gary, a huge part of that as the head of education there.
What I envy most about you and Gary is your energy.
Oh, yeah.
I don't have an iota of the energy that you guys have. I wish I did, because I would do so much with my life.
Enthusiasm, not the energy, but the enthusiasm about what you're passionate about. It's contagious. I mean, it gets it gets people hyped up, and they want to help, and they want to.
I know.
What can I do? What can I learn? What can I?
No, you guys are actually, you really are assets to Gettysburg and to everything that we're trying to accomplish here with preservation and everything like that. And so, we're very lucky to have you. We're very lucky to have Gary. And Colby,
Smith,
Tim, kind of,
And some of us are, I mean, for like me, everybody says, Wayne, my grandchildren, live nearby here. When I retire, I want to go back to battlefield guiding. I don't want to. I want to contribute so I can say when I'm finished here, whenever that may be, that I contributed to the positive outlook as to what it is. I plan on being here. I don't plan on going anywhere.
Yeah.
So,
isn't it great to live in a place that you love?
It is.
Not everybody gets to do that.
No, you're right. You're right. Or do the things that you want to do.
Yeah, well, that's true too. Yeah.
I know my family's often said, I think Wayne, he's never done anything he doesn't want to do.
Yeah.
And really, that's
great.
That's sort of the case. Every time you go out, you're like, wow, you get to have fun and see people and talk to people. And then the serious part is what you're doing there. You're hoping for future generation stays and goes. And with me, thank heavens, at the foundation and with the park, you've got a whole team and a group of partners working on it. There's hundreds of people working on this stuff all the time. And I think a lot of the viewers and listeners don't, they may not realize that. I get to go out and take all the bows. There's so many people that are working, day in and day out on both sides of the aisle, everywhere. To be working at it. Park, foundation, and you've got a lot of private folks working on trying to make this place a better place.
Yep. Matt, you have anything else for Wayne?
Oh, no, that's all. Like I said, you guys are you guys do wonders for Gettysburg. I just wanted to make sure you guys knew that, because I don't know if you hear it enough, but you guys are doing great things. Keep up the good work, and I look forward to joining in on all the talks and all the future episodes. So
thank you, Matt. Are you Matt the cop that I met at the Adams County Historical Society?
Yes, I am actually.
Sorry, didn't mean to out you.
I'm actually working right now. I probably shouldn't admit that.
Don't worry. I guarantee you nobody else is watching a Civil War podcast.
And Matt, thank you for what you do. That's a tough job. Thank you for everything you're doing.
Absolutely. All right, Matt.
I appreciate that. I actually told the superintendent I'd work out there for free for him on the weekends.
Oh, wow.
Kept it open until 10 o'clock again.
Yes. Keep the pressure on there. That's my fight there. It's keeping the park hours till 10.
I'm going to keep it up.
We'll never win,
All right,
but
guys,
we'll
you guys
always
have a
try.
great weekend.
All right, Matt, you too. Thank you very much. And this is just a wonderful show here for people named Matt. We've got Matt McClanahan on the line now. Matt is playing the trumpet, and he is also Rue McClanahan's grandson. So that's a lie, but he is playing the trumpet. How you doing, Matt? What can I do for you?
I'm doing well, Thanks for that wonderful introduction. I really appreciate that, Matt. This is the Matt Hour, apparently.
Yes, exactly.
Yes, sir. No,
the hell do you want?
Quick question for Wayne. Quick question for Wayne. Wayne, thank you for your leadership to the Gettysburg Foundation. It's my understanding they're going to give the guide exam in 2024. do you have any words of wisdom or advice for folks who are interested in taking the guide exam, and what's been your favorite Gettysburg memory in your time in Gettysburg, whether as a battlefield guide or now in your role at the Gettysburg Foundation?
Great question.
Okay, well, I super appreciate that question. So my favorite Gettysburg memory is the one time I was asked to take a Make-A-Wish child, basically. Wasn't through that program, but through a similar program on the battlefield. And this was very early in my guiding career. I think it's 1990, so it's been many, 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 many years ago. And they put him on a battlefield bus tour, took him around, and they asked me, they said, Wayne, would you give him a tour of the National Cemetery? I'm like, I got to take a dying kid and give him a tour of the National Cemetery. And I did. His name was Eric Parkins. That was his name. I never forget him, his mother, his sister, and they came. And I had a picture, a Polaroid taken of me, which I still have somewhere. And when I got done with the tour, I gave him a piece of canister ball that I got. I think I got it at the Horse Soldier, but this was canister ball used at Gettysburg. So read into that. It's automatically more, And I gave it to him and I let him have it. And, some time went by and I got a letter from his mother that basically said that when he died, she put this canister ball in his hand, buried him with it, and that it was his most prized possession that he ever owned. And by hands down, there's no other tour I've ever given in my time as guiding. I get broken up talking about it today.
Yeah, I can understand that.
About that. And I've had veterans on the battlefield. I've had relatives of famous people on the battlefield. I've had Paul Giamatti, who played John Adams on HBO. I've had him on the battlefield. And
I was in John Adams with him.
None of them compares to that. So that's my greatest battlefield memory. I don't think it's probably ever going to change because it was so moving for me. The piece of advice I can give you if you want to become a battlefield guide is to study the things that are not the battle. When I took a guide test, there was so much that was geared toward the battle. There's so much geared not toward the battle. Mm-hmm. So, you've got to know the history of the Civil War. You definitely need to know the history of the cemetery. Mm-hmm. And you need to know the grounds of there. And if you're able to, I don't know how close you live, but if you're able to get with a study group or get with some people, you could do it virtually now, which you never had the ability to do in the past.
Right.
Once they decide, the superintendent only told me that he planned to give the test in 2024, just like he told you. So I've got no other detail. I think some people think that I have Wayne he's got an inside track on all this, on all this information. And
Wayne,
I don't
can you ask Steve Sims to give me a license without taking the test? Can you do that for me, please?
You can talk to him about it. But I would say that, and now they'll have virtual study groups, I'm sure. I never was able to have that. I didn't really have the ability to be able to study and talk with others about the test. So I think you're leagues ahead of that already. The Park Service will give you the list of stated readings. So, and you've got to get past that written test and the other process, which is very difficult now. In my view, much more difficult than it was when I took the test years ago. And then once you get to the oral, you got to kind of, I hate to say forget everything you know, but you got to simplify it.
Yes.
And I never knew anybody who gave an oral examination, tested to be a licensed guide, in my history of guiding, that failed because they said too little.
Too little, right.
Never known anybody in 30-some years that failed because they said, by the way, you didn't tell enough.
The tip is, welcome to Gettysburg. And just sit there for 2 hours. Can't say anything wrong.
So
there was a battle here.
You could point periodically.
I find it shocking. People say, I wrote down, I remember I used to help the candidates out because one of the battlefield guides helped me. I'll tell you, Ed Guy, he's a battlefield guide today. Mm-hmm. Every one of the guides, I guess, probably has like what you call a mentor guide. So Ed was really my mentor guide. And I'd been on the battlefield. My dad would bring me from Ohio, but I never had a 2-hour regular guided tour before I took the battlefield guide test, except the day before I toured. And I think that would shock probably everybody.
Yeah.
That's the oral examination. So I got past the written, and I went to the guide supervisor to say, what do I do? And the guide supervisor said, here, let me tell you something. Come in here, get a battlefield guide. Just go out. Listen to a 2-hour tour. Don't try to do anything. Well, I asked too many questions, I think. And at the end of the tour, Ed said, my dad, my father, who taught me about everything I know about Civil War, we were on the tour. And Ed said, Wayne, maybe you ought to take the guide test. So I said, well, let me tell you what's going on. So tomorrow morning, I have to go out and give an oral examination. He goes, you got to do that tomorrow morning? Another 2 hours, he's with us. He's driving around. He said, let me show you what you got to do.
Nice.
And if it had not been for that, I would have never been elected battlefield guide. So he just sat down. He really tried to pay it forward, which I've tried to do. But I remember I'd write down some of the candidates. And some of them, on a 2-hour tour, they gave me 50 names. I go, you have 50 names on the tour? There's no way.
No.
Try to get that to a certain, number when you do the oral examination.
Yeah, right. When you actually have your license and you're on a tour, you can get more than 6 names. But they say for the exam, just do 6, no more than 6.
Well,
Is that
I don't know what they say now, but and then you're going to preference it by Union and Confederate. You're going to preference it by those names.
So 3 on each
by those
side.
Titles, because people aren't going to know. But my advice to you is definitely, get in with some folks and try to get, and I'm sure there'll be virtual study groups around. You can get in the internet chat groups.
There's a Facebook page, Aspiring Licensed Battlefield Guides. I don't know if they're still active, though, but it's there. And of course, Matt, don't forget, I started addressing Gettysburg because I was studying for the exam, but I didn't want to read again. So I'm like, let me just interview people, and I'll study by going back and listening. The problem is I've done so many episodes, I forgot everything, and I can't stand listening to the sound of my own voice. So I'm probably not going to listen, take my own advice there. But it is there. That is one of the reasons it's there for everybody.
It's so competitive now. The difference between missing a few questions. I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
The difference between missing a few questions is not the questions related to the battle. The questions that aren't related to the battle. So you can know 100% of the questions related to the battle, and these couple outliers out here about Shiloh or whatever this is over here. If you miss those, then that puts you down sort of in the pecking order. So.
Yeah, that's what terrifies me the most. Is all the non-battle stuff, like park history and
and
all
they've
that.
got it widened. They've widened it. And Kira Reardon, who has worked with the National Park Service to help try to widen some of that, she's done a lot of work. She works with the team of the guides, a team of the rangers. They work together to come up with these things.
So it sounds to me like it's different now, being like what they want the guide to be, and I'm guessing it's because. They always say that, if anybody's going to visit a Civil War site, this is the one they come to. Yeah. So that's why there's, in the museum, it starts with, the founding or the colonial era, right? And then it works your way through, because this is the place where it's like, all right, this is the one chance we have to teach these people American history. Right. So we're going to teach them, Gettysburg is what brings you in, but we're going to teach you everything around it. Because that's the way we've got you. This is what we're going to do. So it sounds to me like guides are now kind of less battlefield guides and more history teachers almost.
Well, I wouldn't say less battlefield guides, but I would say being able to put that in context. So context is extremely important. You have to understand why soldiers are fighting in Gettysburg. What are the ramifications? What are the outcomes of the fight here? And be able to link that to the entire war. So I think one of the things that they've done, and I think that's a good thing, but I think the guide's primary job is still always going to be what happened here, and where did it happen?
And that's what most visitors are going to want to talk about anyway.
But you're going to have to put that in context. One of the things that the museum does, like you said, when they build it, they even talk about that. Let's try to put Gettysburg in context. So if people see the museum, then they can go out on the battlefield and say, okay, now I understand.
And that's the thing, is every time, down here with Gettysburg and, during the day people come up to the window all the time thinking we're the visitor center because they can't see the visitor center because it's behind all the trees. And so they come and talk to us and they say, well, what do you recommend we do? Or even if they're customers of Gettysburg and they're saying, well, we're going to be here for a day before we take the tour. What should we do? I always tell them, you go to the visitor center, you pay to go in, you do everything. And when you go out on the battlefield, everything is going to make so much more sense to you if you've gone through all that stuff. And I mean, and it's a great tool for that. So if it's your first time coming here, you got to go to the visitor center first. Go to the visitor center first, see the exhibits, see the movie, see the cyclorama, then grab your licensed battlefield guide. You've got to have a guide.
No question about it. And it's the best way to see the battlefield. It always has been. Yep. And everybody's known that since the day the guns closed.
That's
because people were coming here looking for loved ones. And so that whole tradition of battlefield guiding starts right after the battle. People come here looking for loved ones. Where is Little Round Top? I have no idea. Somebody locally has got to be able to show them that. So when I started guiding here, I lived with the oldest guide. And I was the youngest guide, and he started in 1925.
Wow.
So he took veterans.
What year did you start?
88.
Okay.
And his last year, I think, was 89 or 90. He guided 60 years.
How old were you when you started?
21.
21. Wow, you're young.
I got licensed a month past my 21st birthday.
Good for you.
And I started in June. So I was licensed in January. I started in June, and I was in the class where they took a number of people because they were gearing up for 125th anniversary.
Right.
So they gave a written test in 86, and they gave one in 87, so you could gear up and try to get people in for that. So, but I live with the oldest battlefield guide, and this man, he's been guiding here. He took veterans, and I tell everybody, no matter what, nobody around here today can say I was, I'm here taking veterans on battlefield tour. And one of my mentors who was born in 1918, and he took the guide test the same year I did. We were in the same guide class.
Really?
But yet he had been a native of Gettysburg, had taught college, and came back and retired here. His name was Bill Ridinger, Dr. William Ridinger, and he was nephew of Colonel Jacob Sheets, who took John F. Kennedy on the battlefield.
Yeah.
And Bill Ridinger was a wonderful man. And in 1918, he's since he's born in 1918, 1938 reunion, he's 20 years old.
Yeah.
He's the driver for the superintendent of battlefield guides, Williams Historic. He's the driver for these. Wow. So he's in the car taking these veterans around.
Wow.
And that's something that none of us will ever be able to do.
No.
So you got to pay attention.
But that just shows you how not far away the Civil War is. Right?
That's right.
That you knew people who knew veterans.
Yeah, he met Mrs. Longstreet. He shook her hand tonight.
Wow.
He would always say, "Shake the hand, Wayne," that shook Mrs. Longstreet's hand. Which was great because Mrs. Longstreet didn't die. Longstreet's later wife,
right?
She died like 1960. She's like Rosie the Riveter in World War II. I mean, it's incredible. But I was so grateful that I was sort of the last generation of the people to do that.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
Think about, but you've given the good advice to everybody, and that's be sure to get here, see the visitor center, get that in context, go out with a licensed guide. They can answer your questions.
Yeah,
see the battlefield.
Because Gettysburg, the battlefield, could turn you around if you've never been here and you don't know how to read a map, and even if you do, it's still confusing. Yeah, it's very well marked to the point of being confusing. So this is why I always tell people, they come to the window and they go, we'll just take this map and go around ourselves. I'm like, all right, you're going to wish that you had a guide.
I'm a very visual person. I went to the family day at the Spangler farm, right? Yeah. But if you put me in the back of the rear of the farm, because those trees are there, I'm like, wait, what was on the other side? I have a very difficult time centering myself and visualing where I was. And then they're talking about overshots, and I'm like, wait, from where? And it's right there.
Yes.
I'm like, oh my gosh,
people were killed right outside the barn.
Yeah.
I mean, you got, and we've taken a lot of time talking about this, and I'm sorry. I hope Matt got the answer that he's looking for.
Matt's asleep already.
He's probably already talking. So sorry about
that. I'm doing. I share this with you, Matt Callery. I'm getting sick of the sound of your voice. So that's where I'm at. So,
we have the best listeners. You don't understand, right? We have the best listeners. High five, Matt.
Well, you got a tough crowd. You got a tough crowd here, Matt.
I know.
I tell you, this is a tough crowd. Yeah.
I will be taking your Patreon money with glee this month, Matthew. Anything else, Matt, before we let you go?
That's it. That's it. Thank you all very much.
All right, thank you. I'll see you in a couple of weeks. Wayne, thank you very much for coming on.
Wow, it's been a real pleasure. I just want to thank all the listeners, and because I know they're part of this, and it's very much appreciated. I want to thank all of you here for what you do. Definitely thank our partners, the National Park Service, all the board, the staff, the volunteers, everything we do, and the park frontline folks, the maintenance, everybody over there is working flat out to make a better battlefield for future generations for everybody. So just thank you for this time. It's much appreciated.
I appreciate your time. It's far more valuable than mine is. So I'm very glad that you're here. And that's it. So ladies and gentlemen, we'll take a break and we'll come back with no news, but we'll wrap up the show for you anyway. So give us a minute. We'll be right back. Thank you, Wayne.
Want to promote your Gettysburg business? Send an email to sales@addressinggettysburg.com.
Seminary Ridge Museum and Education Center, Gettysburg's premier museum, is housed in the historic Lutheran Seminary building constructed in 1832, a witness to the first day of battle. The museum's 3 floors of exhibits connect visitors to the dilemmas that led to the Civil War, provide a powerful and personal view of the battle's first day, and explore one of the battlefield's largest hospitals. No visit to Seminary Ridge Museum and Education Center is complete without a guided tour of the building's famous cupola, where on the eve of battle, officers and civilians saw thousands of Confederate soldiers' campfires burning to the west, and Brigadier General John Buford watched for vital federal reinforcements as fighting erupted on the morning of July 1st. Today, you can stand where Buford stood and discover how this view helped chart the course of the Battle of Gettysburg. Your trip to Gettysburg is not complete without a serious visit to Seminary Ridge Museum and Education Center, Gettysburg's premier museum. Purchase tickets online at seminaryridgemuseum.org or call 717-339-1300.
To get tickets or a cupola tour, listeners may call or walk in and mention addressing Gettysburg, or by ordering online using the promo code AG1863 for 20% off.
Seminary Ridge Museum and Education Center. It began here.
There's a devil to pay.
If you're a lover of history, then go to trhistorical.com. There you'll find apparel, drinkware, decor, and more, featuring a wide range of interests from the ancient world to the Cold War. Looking to make an impression with the perfect gift? Well, TR Historical now offers gift cards and a vintage wrapping service for a truly unique presentation. And our listeners will receive 10% off plus free shipping in the U.S. when you use promo code GBERG1863. So go to trhistorical.com, TR Historical, for the love of history.
Think outside the bus and let family-owned Gettysburg Tours take you on a cycling journey across the picturesque and historic Gettysburg battlefield. There's no better way than by bicycle to gain a feel for the terrain of the battlefield. Slow enough to see it all, yet fast enough to do it all. Follow the route of Union troops entering the fray as you ride to the site of the first shots of this epic 3-day battle. Feel the drama as you put yourself in the position of a Confederate soldier just before he steps off to make Pickett's charge. Take a stand with the heroic Colonel Chamberlain on the slopes of Little Round Top, just before you view the fields of honor beneath you from its summit. All of our guides are officially licensed by the National Park Service. So don't get a sore neck trying to see out of your car, and saddle up with Gettysburg Tours for a 360-degree view of America's most important piece of real estate. Gettysburg Tours. Think outside the bus. Go to gettysburg.com or call 717-752-7752 to book a battlefield experience you will never forget.
You've heard us promote various ways that you can help us keep the show going, but one way we haven't pushed too much is our sutlery at addressinggettysburg.com/shop. That's a shame because we have designs over there by talented artists like Ty DeWitt of 1863 Designs and Mike Stretch of the Heritage Depot. So now we're promoting it. Buying shirts, hoodies, mugs, and other items from our sutlery not only helps us keep the lights on, but it also helps guys like Ty and Mike, and it helps spread the word about the show every time you wear an item or you sip from your mug. So head over to addressinggettysburg.com/shop and grab some merch. It's the perfect Christmas gift for the Gettys nerd in your family. That's addressinggettysburg.com/shop.
Have you noticed our revamped website at addressinggettysburg.com? Well, that's the fine work of a man named Mike Stretch, and he also redid our logo for us. Both of them I originally designed, and both of them were originally horrible, but now they're nice, and that's all thanks to Mike. And Mike has an awesome t-shirt company called Heritage Depot. There you'll find great designs based on Gettysburg and the Civil War with t-shirts and other types of merchandise. So go to heritage-depot.com and spruce up your Gettys nerd wardrobe. That's heritage-depot.com. Our favorite bookstore in Gettysburg is For the Historian, located at 42 York Street. It's because they have the best selection of Civil War books in Gettysburg, both new and used, and online they have even more to choose from. And if the Civil War isn't your thing, that's not a problem. This is For the Historian, after all. They cover history from the ancient world to the 21st century with a strong selection of World War II and American Revolution books. It's astounding how many thousands of titles from Osprey, Savas Beatty, UNC Press, and more they have in their store. And that's because, well, they have a warehouse too. And that's where they keep all the books that are available online at forthehistorian.com. And folks, if you go to forthehistorian.com now and order books until you're blue in the face, be sure you mention that you heard about them on Addressing Gettysburg in the Note to Seller box, and they will refund your shipping costs. And if you prefer to stop by when you're in town, well, you could do that too. Just mention Addressing Gettysburg at checkout, and they'll take 20% off the retail price of your item. So go to forthehistorian.com or stop by 42 York Street, or you can call them at 717-685-5207. That's forthehistorian.com or 717-685-5207.
You're listening to Addressing Gettysburg.
Over 1 million total downloads and counting. You're back with AG Today.
Okay, we are back with you, and we are here and stuff and so on. Hey, everybody, we're back. After our interview with Wayne Motts there, we had a lot of fun with Wayne, and Wayne has decided he's had so much fun with us that he's sticking around for the next segment. So he's going to join us on the news segment. But I got a couple things here, because you said you don't really have a lot of news.
No, I don't have
and it's not that there's not a lot going on, but you just got swamped with work and everything like that. And work comes first, let's be honest, ladies and
thank
gentlemen.
you. I'll tell my clients you approve.
Yeah, let them know it's okay.
Yeah, thanks. Paying clients or free podcast. Okay, paying clients.
Now, the thing I'm going to work hard to influence is the Civil War Roundtable that takes you away from us once a month. Okay.
Twice a month sometimes. Every other month there's the board meeting.
Right. So that's got to stop. They need to kick you off the board or something.
No.
Just change it to Friday or Wednesday night. Okay? Please. All right. Anyway, July 2nd, big deal. Big event at 7 p.m. at the seminary. Myself, J.D. Hewitt from the History Underground, and Chris Mowry will be talking about, I think, ourselves. No, I don't think we're talking.
That is a big deal.
No, that's the night before.
How could we ever miss that?
No, we're going to talk.
That is so much better than the Secret Trust talk.
I think we're calling it something, the Battle of Gettysburg, Gettysburg. The Battle of Gettysburg, the gateway drug to the Civil War. And we're going to talk about how, whatever. I don't even know. It was JD's idea, and he's going to he's going to host it. So that is at 7 o'clock. You got to contact the seminary if you want to get a ticket for that. I don't know if they're selling them or not. This isn't an Addressing Gettysburg event, so you're not going to be sold to. I don't know what they're doing, though. But if I told them if you do sell tickets, you don't have to worry about splitting them with us. We're doing it to help you guys, so it'll go to them anyway, whether they do or not.
Everybody mark that down. That's Matt Callery's first philanthropic endeavor of his
last.
life. That's
First and last. I'm still the one in need of philanthropy, so, but we're getting there. Okay, and then a couple things here. My call screener, or the call software that we use when we do phone calls, if people call back, it keeps track, and it says underneath how many times people call. So Matt Kelly called twice, okay? Matt McClanahan called 5 times. How many times do you think... And this is in the history of them calling, not today.
Oh, okay. I thought you
I'm
meant
sorry.
Like that.
I wasn't clear.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I'm sorry. How many times do you think 6 Questions has called?
23.
How many shows have we had where we've taken calls?
A lot. I couldn't tell you.
So more than 23.
Well, then let's just stick with your gut. Go with your gut. 23, you say?
30.
30. All right, Debbie?
I'm going to say 50.
50. Cam? 100. Wayne, throw out a number.
42.
42.
That's a good number. Jack, you're
Closest without going over. Mr. Colby Sumner. 26.
26 Collins. Oh, wait.
Michael Jordan's number. You can't go wrong.
No, you can't go wrong with Michael Jordan's number. But yeah, so Mike is called. I believe he has to be.
23 was Michael Jordan. What kind of sports fans are you?
No, he said 23.
Oh, I thought you said 26. You said 20, you said 26.
No, he said 23. The answer was 26.
Okay.
She's just messing with you, Colby.
She's trying to get me riled up.
She likes to pick on us
I'm
guys.
on your side half the time.
That's true. Should be 60%. Then you wouldn't get razzed.
Look at that face. She got stone cold after saying that.
Did she?
See that?
No, I didn't.
She was serious.
Poor Wayne.
Well, you can't walk out of here and not be happy, can you? I mean, there's got to be. Laughter's good. That's a good thing.
Yeah.
It's good
thing
medicine
for you. We do have some fun.
And you got to laugh, Wayne, right? Because you're talking about death all the time. A battle is death, right? And you got to find humor somewhere. And I figure it's okay for us to do it because, Colby and other veterans I've known have the most messed up sense of humor I've ever known.
I can attest to that.
And they laugh at just about everything. And so, and it's a stress reliever. You got to do it. And then,
read the Civil War accounts. The soldiers, they did this stuff all the time.
That's
they
right.
had to survive.
Yeah. They were all humor. Yeah. And it's probably every war ever. Veronica, so now you say you don't have any news.
I have no news. So full disclosure, I came right from work today because I did not expect to have
Hence
to
the
do
cardigan.
that, but it was the not 5-year-old T-shirt.
All you need is the scarf. You'll be good to go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But anyway, so no news. Actually, very limited event coverage here. Just generically, I'm going to be pointing you folks to some good websites to follow up on the details because I left my notebooks at home. So
you've got, but you got a little something to tell us then?
yeah.
All right.
Go ahead,
Well,
hit
let's
it,
go
hit
ahead.
It, Matt.
Silence! Everyone, silence! 'Tis I, Veronica, and I am here to deliver you the news. There will be no laughter, there will be no fun, there will be no frivolity, and most of all, there will be no interruptions from sound effects. I have spoken. Fold your hands, put your feet flat on the floor in front of you if you are sitting, and take heed, for I bear the news. The news for you.
Wow.
For all of us to hear and to take seriously.
Zabawa?
So, I shall begin by introducing myself. Here with the news, including sidewalk conditions, is I, Veronica Marybeth Brestensky, Esquire. Take it away, me.
You doing news or events first?
Oh my God. You have way too much time on your hands.
That was magical.
There's a test at the end. Here's AG
Way
Today's
too much
lead
time on your
anchor,
hands.
Veronica
When's that
Brestensky
next
with
narrative
news,
episode
traffic,
coming out?
side recommendations, what's happening this weekend.
I must have all possible information.
It's 2025.
Holy heck.
First of all,
Zabawa?
from conception to the final product, that took me an hour. Okay.
My God, Matt.
I was driving around. I had the idea. I stopped here. I recorded it, and just one take. I couldn't believe I got it in one take. And then I ran home. I slopped it together all an hour.
Yeah.
And it really wasn't that good. But anyway, so what do you got then? You don't have news. You just have events.
Just events.
Oh.
Where the action is. What's there to do and see when you're in town this weekend? Here's Valerie, Veronica, to fill you in.
It's all covered.
Bullshit.
Okay, what do you got, Veronica?
So non-historic, but nonetheless relevant. June 1st marks Pride Month. So to all who celebrate or whatever you do. I don't know. Do you celebrate Pride Month?
I don't know.
Or do
I
you
guess it's
acknowledge it?
we
I'm not really
celebrate
sure how you do.
everything,
Yeah,
I think,
celebrate
right?
So to all who celebrate, Happy Pride. This weekend marks the Gettysburg events. So
Yes.
if you're interested, they do have a website. There's Facebook pages. I think there's things Friday through Sunday. So much like last year, I think they're going to knock off
a liquor store.
Yeah, block off part of Carlisle Street and have some dancing in the street like last year. And I think there's a parade.
Like Martha and the
et cetera.
Vandellas.
Yep. There you
Okay.
go. So what else? Actually, Wayne touched on this. The National Park Service did officially release their 160th anniversary tour schedule. So it is on their website. There's several concurrent walking tours. There are presentations like live time on the first, second, and third, et cetera, et cetera. So go on over there and try to get your spreadsheet ready and do as many activities as you can. Also, the foundation has announced the full lineup of the Sacred Trust lectures and book talks and signings. Obviously, Wayne touched on this with the headline speakers and the tickets available for Jack Davis in terms of the dinner and what I'll call pre-sale. But then the other sales. Not sales, offerings should be available mid-month. So go ahead and check out the GettysburgFoundation.org website for that. Just a reminder that additionally, I have not seen the Seminary Ridge events listed for the 160th yet. Not
No,
the
I
specifics.
don't think they put them out yet. They're about to.
And we touched upon the June 30th. They're having a dinner that's sold out. They are accepting people to be put on the wait list still. But
dinner.
that's the only official event I've seen for the.
Right.
For the
well, you now know
anniversary.
July 2nd is
Well,
the biggest event that they're going to
yes,
have,
that's right.
of course.
7:00. But the Adams County Historical Society has pretty much released their events.
Yeah.
Everybody from. I think Stephen Lang is coming. Bill Frazanito and Sue Boardman are doing a talk. Carolyn Ivanoff is going to be doing a presentation. So there's all kinds of stuff, as you all know. Everything for especially the 160th anniversary, but any anniversary is just jam-packed here in town with all kinds of stuff to pick from.
I was supposed to be a part of that, but I wasn't big enough, so I got bumped.
To the seminary?
With no. With JD, you know. I don't know. It's something about room on the stage.
There's something else. Yeah.
JD and Chris and Gary and some.
Probably Chris White, I think.
Yeah, but I think that was it. I think just the three of them.
Yeah.
Those three entities. I mean.
Yeah,
Entities,
American Battlefield, entities. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
We touched on this already. The 100 Nights of Taps is underway. That started on Memorial Day. 5:30 is the free tour offered by the Licensed Battlefield Guide Association. Also, this coming Tuesday kicks off the summer Tuesday evening Licensed Battlefield Guide tours. So again, like in years past now, you have to register in advance and pay online. No cash can be exchanged on the field. But the whole entire summer's event listing is on their website. I should have written this down, but I think it's Association of Licensed Battlefieldguides.org, something like that.
I thought it was Gettysburg Tour Guide.
I think it's GettysburgTourGuides.org.
That's what I said. I don't know why people don't listen to me. But anyway. Yeah, I'm sorry. Okay. GettysburgTourGuides.org.
I can make sure.
I think you are right. It sounded way too complicated the other way. Matt, you touched on this. The 160th anniversary reenactment will not be held on the anniversary, but it's off the week before, the weekend before.
It's. Let me look at my thing here. 23rd through the 25th.
Okay, 23rd through the 25th, and I heard
there's two reenactments going on.
This is the big one.
So this is the new one.
Black Horse Tavern Road.
Yes.
Somewhere. Yeah. Okay.
Yes. That's the one we'll be covering with community media.
Awesome. A reminder that the shelling of Carlisle is probably going to happen between now and the next time you'll hear from us. We're
now
moving to the new studio.
For anybody who hasn't listened to the last 2 or 3 episodes, that's a play. We're not actually going to be shelling Carlisle.
Right.
Those days are gone.
Stockpiling cannons.
They are free to members,
Makes
and we
sense.
ask for a donation for non-members. But it's pretty reasonable. We actually kick off our June tour with Pete Mealy. He's going to do Scales.
You got it.
Scales Brigade attack. I think July is Larry Korzik doing the Wheatfield, and August is Carol Reardon doing the Spangler Farm. So join your local Civil War Roundtable or Historical Society, please.
Give me that list again. There you go.
Pete
Pete.
Mealy.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Go ahead.
Larry Korzik. Ooh. And Carol Reardon. Ooh.
All right.
Any way to double tap those oohs? Because Carol Reardon knows too.
Ooh.
Nope.
So that's about it, guys. Just I don't know when we will be back in our new studio exactly, but I'll have
Couple
more.
weeks.
So a couple weeks.
Yeah, definitely not next week, but I'm shooting for the week after that. I don't want to be away too much, especially with the anniversary coming up. But I'm imagining it's going to take me at least this next week to set up because apparently.
And CWI starts actually. Come to think of it, you're going to be tied up.
So next weekend I won't have time to work on it. I have time during this week to work on it. I told Dave to clear my schedule because this week got screwed up. And because Monday I was supposed to do, I don't remember what happened. Anyway, the point is, I'm shooting for 2 weeks, but I'm not giving any dates because I know it won't take much to set it up. But then, what problems will I encounter that will hinder me? So I'm going to give myself some breathing room here. But I'm
So just to be safe, just a reminder: the 13th, 14th, and 15th of the month of June. Now we're in June officially. Those are when the tickets are going to be released each day for the corresponding headliner for the Sacred Trust Tours tickets. So go on to GettysburgFoundation.org for that.
I'm glad you brought that up.
Another little thing: the November 27th screening of A Gettysburg Christmas.
Yes.
The tickets to the general public are going to go on sale through the Majestic Theater on June 23rd. I hope we'll be back by then, but just a reminder in case not for whatever reason, those are some upcoming June events to keep an eye open for.
You might not need to get a ticket.
Oh, I'm sure I will.
I don't know.
At the last minute, I always get screwed over by Matt. So.
Probably. But I did ask for.
Oh, thanks.
Yeah. My mom and my aunt are coming down.
Oh, cool.
They're so excited.
That's awesome.
They're like,
where's Brucey gonna stay?
Bruce Boxleitner. Yeah.
Wow.
They call him Brucey.
He recorded a video for me to send to my mother, and now she's in love.
I see.
So did Lee Majors,
guy. Oh,
and
wow.
she was already in love with him. And so she goes,
Where's Brucey going to stay? Your Aunt Sue and I are very excited about this. And
I said, I think, they're going to be at blah, blah, blah. And she's like,
okay, we got our reservations at blah, blah, blah. I hope to see them in the lobby.
She's all excited, and which is great because, whatever. And so I got them in with me, but and I also said, if you could also get Veronica and Kathy in.
Oh, thank you.
And she said, I'll see what we can do.
Thanks. Thank you so much.
It's not a guarantee. I haven't heard back yet, but I tried.
All right. I'll take that as my birthday gift from last year.
Yeah, because far more important people. Far from last year, I got you something from this year.
Oh.
Yeah, see, you don't even remember. I got you the Guns and Ammo magazine, and I got Eric, because you have the same birthday, I got him a calendar with kittens. Because he needed to soften up, and you needed to harden up.
I wasn't a crying stage at that point in my life. Yeah.
Anyway, there's far more important people than me who need to bring plus ones and stuff. So we'll see what we can do. All right, what else?
That's it.
Oh wait, I wanted to tell you about some things. The audience, of course, and that is let's see, June 9th is our Brandy Station 160th anniversary episode, recorded back in September. On Fleetwood Hill.
Yes, that was actually pretty cool.
Yes, and we have Chris Army. Who else was on that?
Bud Clark.
But he wasn't on the episode.
Recording?
He took us around. Chris Army, Tracy Bear, and for the first time on the show as an actual guide, not licensed but certified, our own 6 Questions Lens. So that's coming out then, and then on the 13th, we're going to put out the second Winchester anniversary episode, recorded from Starfort with Jason Noyalis and our buddy Casey Turbin. And then 1st, 2nd, and 3rd of July will be the respective anniversary episodes for those days. And let's see. Oh, yeah. So this year we added a new element because every year I try to do the anniversary episodes a little differently. It's still an overview, but we'll kind of zoom in on one particular action and then come back out and finish off the day. So we still do that, except this year we've added our new buddy, Roseanne Zyko, licensed town guide, to give the civilian perspective as the battlefield guides are talking about the battle.
That's awesome.
So July 1st, we have Cody Aish from the seminary. It was supposed to also be Fran Fayok, but he got I think a last minute bus tour or something, and work with Matt for free, or get a bus for So of course he's going to do that, and I don't blame him. But so it's Cody Aish and Roseanne. July 2nd is Louis Trott and Roseanne, and July 3rd is Chaz Fennell. Ralph Siegel and Roseanne and myself.
Oh, that's awesome. I'm
Yes.
excited about those. I love Roseanne.
And Roseanne
That's a
did.
great
She did a
idea.
great
Yeah.
job.
That's
She did a
awesome.
great job, but she's all like, "Oh, I don't know if I was good." Yeah, she was fine.
Yeah.
She was very good, and I'm looking forward to having her on the show more. So there's that, and then don't forget the Get Out of the Car tour is June 17th, and I want to stress this. I'm borrowing a pickup truck, so when you bring your Matmas gifts, because the day before, June 16th, is Matmas Day, I'll have enough space to take them all home.
Yeah.
So if you're thinking, well, I want to get him a gift, but I don't want, he probably doesn't have enough room in his car to handle, gifts from 100 people. That's okay. Pickup truck. All right. So there you go. And just make checks out to Addressing Gettysburg, LLC. What?
Uh-oh.
Actually, let me just do a real quick plug for Wayne. Wayne pointed out during the break, and I forgot about this. It is a little ways in the future, but in August, and I think you have one maybe in December or something.
Got
even
one
about
on
like
Gunsmiths in December. Yeah, the one in August is on Vietnam and Korea. Yeah.
So this is really neat. So the Adams County Historical Society not only went ahead and posted their entire 160th anniversary lineup, but if you click on their calendar, I mean Abby Hoffman has stuff literally scheduled through Christmas.
Yeah.
The tickets might not be available quite yet, but it's a save the date kind of thing. And one of them that I'm actually looking forward to is Wayne's presentation called The Ultimate Sacrifice: Adams County Dead in Korea and Vietnam, and that's going to be August 19th from 7 to 8 o'clock. So that's part of I'm assuming that's part of the Battlefield Overlook Room series or whatever they're calling it. So that's really quite cool.
You know what, Wayne? I don't know who we would go to for this, but maybe this would be something that we should spearhead together. Yeah, have you noticed when you drive through other towns, and I'm talking, where was I? I think it was last fall. I had to go to a funeral out in Saxton, so it's about by Raystown. And I was taking 30, and I'm going through these little nameless towns that are like one traffic light, if that. And they've got, and also bigger towns like Carlisle, I think, does this. They've got Chambersburg. They've got banners on the poles of hometown heroes.
Yeah.
Why don't we do that in
Yeah,
Gettysburg?
that's a good idea. My hometown does that too as well. Biglerville.
Yes, Biglerville's another one.
I think Gettysburg does also.
That would be something to propose.
I think, but who do we propose it to? I guess
Probably the borough council.
Borough
You probably
council?
talk to the borough council.
We should do this.
You probably know folks that are on the council or the mayor.
Not really.
You can certainly
Well, I
talk
met
to
the
him
mayor.
there.
Yeah.
Yeah, you could talk
Yeah.
to about that. Usually they're sponsored. Usually people make a donation.
So we'd
and
have
pay-
to-
and pay for them. But you could sometimes the family members do one. Sometimes like if it's a father or a son will do it for father. But for those that have died, sometimes it's people who've died. They get sponsors to work on it, and sometimes it's coordinated with VFW, American Legion, or something like that. Too.
That's what I gotta do.
You have to. You could ask, but I mean but you have to get permission probably from the borough to do
Sure.
it. But you see that in a lot of places.
Yeah,
It's
and
really
I
nice.
just think it's so strange that Gettysburg, of all places, doesn't have that. I mean, we've such a
Maybe
rich
just
military
somebody-
heritage.
It could be just because somebody hadn't mentioned it.
Yeah, maybe it is. I mean, they must drive around with their eyes closed in other towns and not see it because, nobody got, well, whatever. All right, well, so maybe we'll try to do it.
Somebody has to spearhead it.
Well, of course.
A lot of towns have started it years ago.
What's that, Cameron?
A lot of towns
Why is your
have
face
started it
blue?
years ago. Because the light.
Oh, yeah. Okay. It looks like you have like ink or
No,
something
a lot
on it,
of
like
towns
blueberry.
actually started it a few
Are you
years
talking in the microphone? God.
A lot of people started it actually a few years ago, so it's only been a recent new
Yeah,
thing in
yeah.
the past
It's
few
a newer
years.
thing, yeah.
A lot of places have it though.
Yeah.
My hometown, somebody came and asked why doesn't my dad have one, and they had an ad in the paper. If you wanted to, you had to sponsor it by giving the money for the banner to be made.
Okay.
We have the bricks
Well,
and stuff too. Like those are pretty permanent.
Oh,
I mean,
yeah.
they're not the same as the hometown banner, but there are commemorative.
oh, no, I'm not
efforts
saying
here.
Gettysburg doesn't commemorate. I'm just wondering why we don't do that. Because that's more in your face than the bricks, because you have to be walking on the bricks,
In my hometown, the banner, my dad was on in our hometown, and the banner went to him. So
Oh,
after,
yeah.
after it was up for like a year, they took it down and gave
I
it.
gave it to him. So you don't have to be. I thought it was for our fallen. So you could be living still.
It can be people
Just
living
heroes.
as well. People that served.
Okay,
That served.
got
It's
it.
Usually, it's people that serve. Sometimes it's people that are deceased if the family wants to get that. But
So
other
anybody.
times it's people that are actually living in town.
Okay.
Today.
Debbie has a good point too. I mean, there's a historic designation within the borough, so they might not. They might limit it to
But the Christmas decorations.
But that's like for a minute and then it's done, right? Like those.
Well, so is the hometown heroes.
No, I think they stay up.
Oh, they do?
Yeah, they stay. Once you pay
Oh.
for that, that's like those outdoor.
Yeah, the like vinyl.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, all right. Maybe
Certainly
that will
a
work.
question to ask. It doesn't
It
hurt to
is.
ask the question.
Well, I'll
We'll see how
find
quickly
out.
He gets on this, Wayne. I'm not.
Yeah,
Don't hold your breath.
2026, we'll have it all taken care of. I'll have an answer for you by 2026. Cameron, you said you have an event that you want to talk about. You're going to be thrown overboard the Pride of the Chesapeake?
No, I'm not getting thrown overboard.
Gonna make you
Pride of
walk the plank?
Baltimore. No, I'm not.
Okay, go ahead.
Well, I've been working at Fort Mulligan this year. I mean,
Fort Mulligan?
Wow. No,
Wow.
Fort McHenry.
It's on your hat.
National Historical Site. And I'm also helping with the trails, the Star Spangled Banner Trail with the War of 1812 in the Chesapeake. This week, the Pride left the other day, if anybody saw my Facebook, left Baltimore for a 2-day trip up to Havre de Grace. And I am actually driving up tomorrow to be with the ship and the crew for the whole weekend to do.
Oh, really? Are you sleeping on the boat?
No, I can't.
They're gonna make you sleep in a raft.
They're
off
gonna make
the
you
boat?
put, yeah, they're gonna
No,
put you in a dinghy.
No, actually, I got a hotel room I'll be at.
So what are they gonna like come to shore and drop
The
you
boat
off,
is
or
going to be at dock all weekend. It's not going out on the water because the water is too shallow during the day.
okay, low tide?
I know later in the year it's going to be in Baltimore where we're going to be doing tours from the fort out into the harbor, Solomon Islands. Later in
You're going to the Solomon Islands?
No,
Going to Guadalcanal?
Solomon Island. Man, you're back.
You said Solomon Islands. I'm thinking
Solomon
Guadalcanal.
Island. It's down towards the mouth of the Chesapeake.
You threw an S on the end of it. Not my fault. I got
And then,
confused.
I think in the fall, the fourth trip will be Alexandria, down below Washington, D.C.
That's a neat town.
And those are, I think, the 4 sites that the Pride's going to be at in the Chesapeake, and I'll be with them at every port this summer. So I just wanted to share that if you're over in that area this weekend,
Yeah. No. All right. So that's
and it's
check.
just going to be me, nobody else
So
from the Park Service.
you're the crew,
No, the crew will be there.
Oh.
I'm the only one from the Park Service going to be there.
and so you're going to be doing interpretive stuff on the boat.
Yeah, I'll be doing some talks, helping with the tours as people come on to look at the ship.
Do you know what? Like, so I'm assuming by now you know what it is you're going to be talking about, and that's why they're letting you do it, right?
Well, that's also part of why I was picked for this summer was to help out with the Star Spangled Banner Trail and
Okay.
all the different partners.
Like, give me an example. Like, what do you talk about on the trail?
Privateer, the life of a privateer.
Okay.
Who was in a U.S. government version a legal pirate.
Right.
Talk about the life of somebody living on the ship at that time. Talk about the history of Havre de Grace, how one man caused for the whole British fleet to come pouring down on the town.
Tommy Potato.
No, John O'Neill.
Tommy French
I believe
Fry.
It was his name.
What was the potato? There was something with potatoes.
That was a nickname for the battery that was
That's
there.
right.
It had 3 cannons there guarding the town, and the British had said, as long as you don't disturb us, we won't do nothing. Well, British were lingering out there off the coast, the shorelines of Havre de Grace. The man went up, fired at one of the cannons, and 20 rowboats got deployed because they couldn't bring their big ships in. And they fired.
So they were the
attacked
chicken nuggets.
town. They attacked the town, burned several buildings, and mortared this town and shot rockets from the British ship Cogreer rockets.
All right. And so so you're going to talk about stuff like that then.
Yeah.
All right. Check out Cameron at Havre de. It's not at at Fort McHenry, though, right?
No.
It's up at Havre de Grace.
All the way up at
Yes.
the mouth of the Susquehanna.
Right, okay. So you got to take your boat down to the mouth of the Susquehanna, and you can meet Cameron there and then hear all this stuff. All right, very good, Cameron. We'll have a good weekend with that.
Yeah. Thanks.
Enjoy yourself.
It's pretty big what I'm getting to do this year.
Yes. Okay, good. Thank you, Cameron. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I think we've beaten this dead horse enough, and Wayne is bored out of his mind.
Yeah, there's literal tears coming out.
I've been between.
I'm gonna have to take a break.
What, Cam?
I had to almost pull over coming up the road. I was laughing so hard.
At what?
You two.
What did we do?
All your little jokes.
Your shenanigans,
how
if you
Veronica
will.
makes fun of me.
It's funny. Let the man know.
Okay, yeah, thank you, Cameron. Thank you very much.
We've also been at like 2 hours and 15 minutes.
Yeah.
Now,
I know.
Osborne, Rodison.
Okay, so we're going to go.
Yeah.
And this is it, ladies and gentlemen. Say goodbye to the studio.
Wow.
We're going to try to make the backgrounds look similar, but not the same. The Wall of Fame is coming with us, and that'll be I'll put that in the production room on the wall or something like that. Yes, Wayne, you need to sign that if you don't mind, please. Yeah. Thank you very much. I'll give you this here right there. And that's it for us, folks. So thank you for listening. Thank you to everybody who called in, and thanks for all your support. We've got more stuff off the wish list. I didn't bring the slips today, but I will have them all when we come back from our break here, and that's it.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Thanks, guys. Good night. Have a nice weekend.
Have a good night.
Addressing Gettysburg Today is hosted and produced by Matt Callery and Veronica Brestensky, Esquire. Engineered by Colby Sumner and maybe, sometimes, someone else. Guests of the show stay wherever they want. That's not our concern. To be a guest on the show, send an email to matt@addressinggettysburg.com. Addressing Gettysburg Today broadcasts from the Gettys Bike Tour studios. To get a 15% discount on your next tour with Gettys Bike, call 717-752-7752. I'm Huevos Grande, the voice of Addressing Gettysburg Today. Thanks for listening.
There were many Union men who wept with joyful tears when they saw the honored flag they had not seen for years. Hardly could they be restrained from breaking forth in cheers while we were marching through Georgia.
Bonfire. Kathy.
So we sang the
Why? Whatever do you mean?
While we were marching through Georgia. While we were marching through Georgia. While we were marching through Georgia.
This concludes our broadcast.